Chapter 402. Huamin smiled slightly. I've never heard of that before. Also, it's up to me whether or not I can help you. Since I'm the chairman of the Hua Xiqian Foundation, I have to be responsible for every single cent. How about this? Why don't you go directly to Mr. Hua Xiqian and see if he agrees? If he agrees, then I have no issues with it. Are you purposely giving me a hard time? I don't even know Mr. Hua Xiqian Foundation. Feng Yiqing thought to himself, who was Hua Xiqian? Even his brother-in-law had to treat him with respect. How could Feng Yiqing have any say in this? If that's the case, then please don't give the finance department a hard time, Director Feng. Let's end this here. After speaking, Huamin turned around and left. Feng Yiqing forcefully knocked on the table and cursed. Bitch, why are you acting so cocky? Aren't you just a bastard from the Hua family? How arrogant. Let's see how I'll deal with you in the future. In the end, Feng Yiqing's plan to use the Hua Family Foundation didn't work out. He was even scolded by Huamin, so of course he was upset. Huamin, on the other hand, thought that he did the right thing. Although the money belonged to Hua Xiqian, he had the responsibility to decide where the money would go. The money was supposed to be used for official business, but Feng Yiqing was going to use it to repair the garden. What a joke. Head nurse, you did the right thing this time. That Feng Yiqing should be taught a lesson. You don't even know how bad his character is. Not only does he like to embezzle money, but he also takes advantage of us nurses. Whenever he sees which one has a better figure, he'll get stuck and have fat brains. Disgusting. The nurses were extremely happy when they heard that Huamin had taught Feng Yiqing a lesson. I'm just stating the facts. I have to know where the money will go, and I have to make sure that it's used in the right place. Otherwise, what's the point of establishing this foundation? No one can take advantage of it. Huamin was a stubborn person with a twisted personality. Once he set his mind on something, he would stick to his decision. Not even 9 bulls could pull him back. Therefore, she did not feel that it was inappropriate to offend the vice principal's brother-in-law. Didn't she also challenge the vice principal during the meeting? If he didn't even care about the vice school head, why would he care about a mere brother-in-law? If she chickened out, would she still be Huamin? For the entire afternoon, Huamin's phone was quiet. Qin Shu did not send a single WeChat message. Huamin always felt that Qin Shu might be angry, because Qin Shu was so smart that he must know the origin of Red Rose. She had lied again. Would Mr. Qin be angry? She thought about it and picked up her phone. She wanted to send a WeChat message to ask, but in the end, she put it down. Huamin felt that she didn't do it either. She didn't want to tell the truth because she didn't want to aggravate the conflict. Was she supposed to tell Qin Shu that Su Yu was the one who wanted to pursue her and send her flowers? Wouldn't that make Qin Shu even angrier? By the time Huamin got off work, it was already past 6 p.m. She was stuck in a traffic jam and arrived at Imperial Park at 7:20 p.m. Qin Shu was not home yet. Because it was autumn, the house was cold. She turned on the lights, changed into slippers, and sat on the sofa to wait for Qin Shu to come home so they could have dinner together. There was nothing left at home. She took out her phone and was about to order a fruit pizza to eat with Qin Shu. Before she could order, she received a call from Jixin. Jixin, sis, are you off work? Yeah, I just got home. What's up? Sis, I have something to tell you, but don't get too excited. Jixin's voice sounded a little off, as if he was hesitating. What's wrong? Huamin had a bad feeling. Mom just fainted. She's in the first hospital. What? Huamin panicked. She immediately hung up, put on her clothes, and drove straight to the first hospital. Outside the door, Huamin saw Jing Jixin's worried face. Jixin, what happened to Mom? Did she slip and fall? No. Jing Jixin shook his head. Then what's going on? Is it Qin Shu? What happened to Qin Shu? Huamin's heart jumped in his throat when he heard that it had something to do with Qin Shu. Chapter 403. Jing Jixin slowly lowered his head. Qin Shu's mother came to our house and said something to Mom. Mom got agitated and got into an argument with her. In the end, Qin Shu's mother's bodyguard pushed her and she slipped. What? Huamin's brows furrowed when he heard this, and his heart sank. Qin Shu's mother again. She was like this 7 years ago, and now she was doing it again. Did she really think that his family was that easy to bully? Jixin, did you see it with your own eyes? Huamin asked again. No, I wasn't at home. Annie Wu was at our house. She said so. Then, Annie Wu called me, and I came straight to the hospital from school. Huamin didn't say anything, but his expression was terrible. Sis? Yeah, I think. Mom probably found out about you guys. That's why she's so agitated. Yeah. Huamin tried his best to stay calm. So, what are you going to do next? Jing Jixin's voice wasn't very loud. He didn't want to put pressure on his sister, but he didn't know what to do either. He originally wanted to tell his mother about it slowly, but now he couldn't hide it anymore. But how did Qin Chu's mother find out? Why did she suddenly go to her house to cause trouble? Did Qin Chu come clean with his parents? At this thought, a wave of anger surged up again. Where's Annie Wu? Oh, she went over there to get some water. She'll be back soon. Less than a minute after Jing Jixin spoke, Annie Wu came back. She was wearing a flowery shirt, black pants, and canvas shoes. Auntie Wu, Mion's here. Annie Wu, what happened? Huamin really wanted to know what happened, so he asked. Annie Wu's eyes flickered. She didn't know what to say. Annie Wu, just tell me what you saw. Don't hide it from me, or else I'll feel bad. I don't know what's going on with my mom, and I'm really worried. Mion, are you with that son of the Qin family again? Annie Wu asked in a serious tone. Huamin remained silent, but it was a tacit agreement. It seems that Lady Qin was right. She suddenly came to your house this afternoon. At that time, I was cross-stitching with your mother. She was very aggressive and said a lot of unpleasant things. She said that she was a vixen and that she would raise a vixen to seduce her son. In short, it was very unpleasant. Your mother didn't believe her and argued with her during the confrontation. Don't you know your mother's character? She was so anxious that she wanted to scratch Lady Qin. Then, a tall bodyguard behind her rushed up and pushed her hard. Your mother fell down. They even said that your mother deliberately faked the accident. After that, they drove away. I saw that your mother fell quite badly, so I immediately sent her to the hospital. She's still in the operating room. I wonder how he is now. After hearing Annie Wu's words, Huamin's heart felt extremely heavy. The tragedy from 7 years ago seemed to be repeating itself. Because of her relationship with Qin Chu, her family was implicated. Her tears fell uncontrollably. She didn't know what to say. She just wished that she was the one lying in the operating room. Sis, don't be sad. I believe that Mom will be fine. Jing Jixin walked up and wiped his sister's tears with a tissue. Mion, I don't want to scold you, but why couldn't you have dated anyone? Why'd you have to go down the same path as before? It's not like you don't know what kind of people the Qin family is. They're a rich family that kills without batting an eyelid. Why are you so stupid? Auntie Wu criticized. Huamin didn't say anything, she just cried. Jing Jixin interrupted. Auntie Wu, it's already happened. We can't change it. You can't blame my sister. She doesn't have the ability to predict the future. If she knew that my mother would be like this, she wouldn't want it to happen. What you're saying will only make her feel worse. You're right, then I won't say anything. Anyways, you're grown up now. Think about it. Annie Wu turned her head away from Huamin. Bro, did I do something wrong again? Huamin looked up at his brother with tears streaming down his face. Chapter 404. Sis, please don't say that. I'm not blaming you, and no one is saying that you're wrong. Don't add more burden to yourself. Let's wait until Mom wakes up, okay? Huamin covered his face and nodded. 2 hours later, the door to the ER opened. Who is the patient's family? I am. Huamin walked over. The patient's lumbar spine is injured, and we need to put in 4 steel nails. Are you using domestic ones or imported ones? Is there a difference? Jing Jixin asked, confused. Before the doctor could answer, Huamin immediately said, imported ones, we'll use imported ones, including the medicine. Okay, then go and pay the surgery fee. 100,000 first. We'll add more if it's not enough. Then, the doctor turned around and walked back in. 100,000? That's daylight robbery. Andy Wu mumbled on the side. Then, she pulled Huamin aside and said, don't listen to the doctors here. Domestic and imported drugs are the same. They're just scamming money. It's not the same, Andy Wu. I worked at the first hospital before, and I know that even if it's the same domestic drug, it will have different effects if it's not made by the same manufacturer. My mom's health is the most important thing right now. We can always make more money. Then, Hwamin hurried downstairs to pay the bill. Your sister sure is different now that she's hooked up with a rich man. I was wondering why she didn't like my Liang Liang last time, Auntie Wu said sourly. Auntie Wu, my sister isn't hooking up with a rich man. She just got back together with her ex-boyfriend, and they're very close. If it weren't for my dad's accident, they would have gone abroad together. It's not my sister's fault. Jing Jixin was very protective of his sister. He never wanted anyone to say anything bad about his sister. He always felt that it wasn't easy for his sister to raise him. She gave up so much for this family and shouldn't have to bear all these ridiculous accusations. After Hwamin paid the surgery fee and came back, his phone rang. It was Qin Shu. For some reason, she felt guilty when she saw Qin Shu's name at this sensitive time. So, she subconsciously hung up. Qin Shu called again. She hung up and turned off her phone. Sorry, the number you have dialed is unavailable. Qin Shu was slightly startled when he heard the notification tone. He had just gotten through, but Hwamin had hung up on him. Now, she had turned off her phone? Could it be a meeting? Or did his phone run out of battery? He thought doubtfully. When Hwamin returned to the operating room, he saw the attending doctor talking to Jing Jixin. What happened? Sis, you came back at the right time. The doctor said that Mom needs a blood transfusion now, but the blood bank is in a state of emergency. It will take too long to transfer the blood. Since both of our immediate relatives are here, we can donate blood for Mom and save a lot of time. Sure. Where are we going to draw blood? Hwamin asked. The consultation room at the side will do. There will be a professional nurse to collect your blood. Then, Hwamin and Jing Jixin went to the clinic on the side. You guys, we want to collect blood for my mother's surgery. You know the criteria for blood donation, right? Pregnant women and those within a year of childbirth are not allowed. Anemia is not allowed. Colds are not allowed. Infectious diseases are not allowed. Recent surgeries are not allowed. Cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases are not allowed. High blood pressure and coronary heart disease are not allowed. Recent blood donation records are also not allowed. The nurse on duty said a bunch of things. Jing Jixin suddenly patted his head. I just took cold medicine yesterday, am I okay? No, the nurse said with a straight face. Jixin, go back and watch the door. I'll do it. I meet the criteria. As a medical staff member, Hwamin knew the criteria, so he sat down and waited for the nurse to draw his blood. Frustrated, Jing Jixin turned around and walked back to the door of the operating room. Do you know what your blood type is? The nurse asked as she tied a rubber tube around Hwamin's arm. I do, I'm AB. Hwamin was full of confidence. But my medical record shows that the patient's blood type is B, the nurse said with wide eyes. Hwamin's expression changed slightly. That's impossible. Take a closer look. Chapter 405. That's right, there's no mistake, it's B. If it was any other blood type, our blood bank would have it. Recently, there have been a lot of patients with B. That's why the blood bank is running low. Hwamin retracted her arm, feeling her mind go blank. All these years, she never paid attention to her mother's blood type and always thought that it was AB or a type. Because Hwamin's blood type was AB, she was very sure that it was AB. The hospital had done many checkups. As for Hu Jinghai's blood type, she took a look at his medical record last time at the hospital. Hu Jinghai's blood type was B. In other words, her mother was either A or AB. Because only a combination of A and AB and B could give birth to a child with AB blood type. A combination of B and B blood type parents could give birth to a child with B blood type or O blood type. They would never give birth to a child with AB blood type. Yours won't do. Why don't you call your other relatives? The nurse said to Hwamin. She slowly got up and calmly thought about all of this. Was she not Hu Jinghai's child? Was she Uncle Jing's biological daughter? However, as soon as this thought popped up in her mind, she immediately denied it. That was because she had seen Uncle Jing's blood type on his death report. Uncle Jing's blood type was also B. So, what the hell was her AB blood type? She walked to the door of the operating room in a daze. Sis, you're done with the blood draw already? Does it hurt? Jing Jixin asked. She knew Jixin's blood type very well. Last time, when Jixin was hospitalized in a car accident, she knew that Jixin's blood type was also B. Therefore, she was the only one in the family who was different. If her mother didn't need a blood transfusion this time, she would have thought that her mother's blood type was A or AB, the same blood type as her. Sis, what's wrong? Jing Jixin called out a few more times when he saw his sister spacing out. Yeah, you spaced out. What's wrong? Did you draw blood? No. Huamin shook her head blankly. She had always been calm when things happened and never lost her ability to think. However, this incident hit her so hard that she couldn't think straight. Why? Do you not meet the requirements? Huamin didn't answer Jixin's question. Instead, he snapped back to reality and said, I'm going to the OB/GYN department to talk to my colleagues. I remember some of them are B grade. After speaking, Huamin turned around and left. Hearing that Huamin needed to donate blood, Huang Yu and another colleague, Zhang Kaiyun, came over without hesitation. It just so happened that both of them had type B blood, which solved the problem of Huamin's mother needing a blood transfusion. Senior sister, don't you think our hospital is too pretentious? There's no blood in the blood bank. They don't usually prepare more, but at the critical moment, their own family members have to donate blood. Then, they don't pay a single cent less for hospitalization. How black-hearted. If President Wu heard this, he would be the first to fire you, Zhang Kaiyun said with a smile. President Wu is here. I definitely can't say anything. I have to flatter him. No matter what Huang Yu and Zhang Kaiyun said, Huamin seemed to be absent-minded. Senior sister, what's wrong with you today? You don't seem to be yourself. Huang Yu poked Huamin with her finger. Oh, maybe it's because my mom is cleaning up. I'm too worried and nervous. Don't worry, she'll be fine. God helps the good. Huang Yu comforted. Huamin nodded. After Huang Yu donated blood, she went to the door of the OR. She was happy to see Jing Jixin. Don't worry, Annie will be fine. Thank you. Jing Jixin nodded. After another hour or so, the door to the OR slowly opened. How is it? Doctor, how's my mom? Huamin and Jing Jixin rushed over. Chapter 406. The patient isn't in any danger. She just needs to recuperate after the surgery. Let's observe her for a while and send her straight to the VIP room. Yang Meirong's face was pale from the surgery. It was heartbreaking to see her like this. There was still anesthesia left, but she showed no signs of waking up. Huamin gave Jing Jixin some money and asked him to take Annie Wu out for a meal. He would stay here and take care of her. Sis, what do you want to eat? I'll get some takeout for you. Huamin shook her head in exhaustion. I don't want to eat anything. I don't have an appetite. Okay then, I'll come back and take your place. Jing Jixin then took Annie Wu, who had been busy all day, out for a meal. Huamin held on to Yang Meirong's hand, feeling extremely conflicted. If Yang Meirong wasn't her biological mother, then who was? Or, other than Hua Zhenghai and Jingde, did she have another biological father? Yang Meirong never mentioned it. After her mother woke up, Huamin decided to investigate this matter. After living for 24 years, she couldn't calm down when she suddenly realized that there might be more to her birth than meets the eye. However, regardless of whether Yang Meirong was her biological mother or not, she still raised her. Seeing her lying on the hospital bed and suffering because of her made her heart ache. Mom, I hope you're safe and get better soon. Huamin looked at the woman on the bed with tears in her eyes. Jing Jixin came back half an hour later. Annie Wu saw that Yang Meirong was out of danger, so she went straight home. Sis, I'll take care of Mom. You should get some rest. I'm fine. Go back to sleep. You have school tomorrow. My classes aren't that busy. You still have work to do. You can't handle it alone. Jing Jixin felt bad for his sister and handed her a lunchbox. Here's congee and pickles. Don't eat too much. Your body can't take it. I don't feel like eating. Jixin, you take care of Mom. I'll go buy some food for my colleagues. After leaving the VIP room, Huamin went out and ordered a lot of food from a restaurant. Huang Yu and Zhang Kaiyun each donated 400 cubic centimeters to Yang Meirong. They were very generous. In Huang Yu's words, she said, When I drew my blood, I was dazed. Everything went black, and I almost fainted. After all, she was a girl. 400 yuan was quite a lot. However, since their relationship was good, it was impossible to give him money. That would be an insult to him. Huamin bought a lot of delicious food and some supplements for his two colleagues. Huamin took the opportunity to chat with the head nurse, Su Yin, at the entrance of the OB/GYN department. Head nurse, do you think that a Type B father and a Type B mother would never have a Type AB child? Of course, AB and B can only give birth to AB or an OB. Isn't this something you should have learned your first year? You're a straight A student. Why are you asking me about such a small matter? Su Yin smiled. Oh, it's nothing. I was just asking. Huamin smiled awkwardly. On the other side, Qin Chu noticed that Huamin didn't pick up his phone. Something was wrong. Huamin rarely turned off his phone. Even if his phone ran out of battery, he would charge it immediately. There were chargers at home, at work, and in his car, unless something happened to her. The more he thought about it, the more worried Qin Chu became. He decided to drive home. Qin Chu originally planned to go to GK today to hand over his job. After all, he had already resigned from his father. However, after he arrived, he was held up by the shareholders' meeting. A few of the major shareholders were in a bad mood. His father couldn't reach them, and Assistant Yang was busy. Qin Chu had no choice but to step in and calm them down. After a busy day, he wanted to pick up Huamin for dinner. However, he couldn't reach her, so he was very anxious. When he got home, he realized that Huamin wasn't home either. Qin Chu was a bit worried. Just as he was about to call Huamin, he received a call from home. Young master, come back as soon as possible. Master and Madam got into a big fight. Madam is so angry that she's crying. She even wants to run away from home. After hearing the maid's call, Qin Chu frowned slightly. When it rains, it pours. Chapter 407. Qin Manor. The majestic mansion was brightly lit. As soon as Qin Chu walked in, he saw that the living room was a mess. Qin Yumin was sitting on the sofa, smoking a cigarette without saying a word. His mother stood at the door with a suitcase in her hand, as if she was about to leave. Mom, what are you doing? Qin Chu frowned, as if he didn't understand what his parents were doing. Over the years, although his mother was a bit overbearing and unreasonable, she still knew what was important, and what was important was that his father had the final say in major decisions. His mother only made decisions in their daily lives. Qin Chu couldn't figure out what was going on that would cause them to fight like this, even though they had never fought before. Son, you're back just in time. I don't want to live with your dad anymore. I want a divorce. As soon as Lady Qin saw her son come back, she immediately put on a sad act. She had tears in her eyes and looked extremely wronged. What's the reason? Your dad said that you wanted to resign and that he approved it. But how could I agree? You two didn't even discuss such a big thing with me. You really don't think of me as a part of this family. Mom, this is the company's business. Qin Chu defended himself. What company? Isn't the company our family? Anyways, I told you, you're our only son. You can't leave GK, and you can't leave us. We've already tolerated you moving out, but how could you leave us? I'm guessing that your dad must be up to something. Maybe he has a mistress or an illegitimate child. That's why he's treating us so coldly. Don't slander me. Qin Yumin was so angry that his fingers trembled slightly. He agreed to Qin Chu's resignation only because he was angry. How could he give up on their father-son relationship? Mom, my dad isn't that kind of person. You've been married to him for so many years. You should know him better than I do. Don't say hurtful things so easily. The person who said it didn't mean it, but it hurt the person who heard it. Qin Chu always thought that his mother was a sharp-tongued person. She was in the right and didn't show mercy. All these years, her father had always been good to her mother. He didn't fuss over small things with her. Now that he was old, his chastity was at stake. He was labeled by his mother as someone who kept a mistress and an illegitimate child. How could a person like his father not take it? That's hard to say. Who doesn't know that he's scheming and shrewd? I won't be fooled by his facade. Lady Qin said seriously. If you want to leave, go ahead. I won't stop you. I've had enough of these years. Qin Yumin waved his hand. He seemed to have lost his temper. All right, son, listen to him. He's finally telling the truth. right? Are you trying to kick me out of the family? All these years, even if I haven't done anything for this family, I've still worked hard. I even gave birth to Chu for the Qin family. Qin Yuman, how can you treat me like this? Don't you have any shame? Lady Qin had no intention of leaving. She pointed at Qin Yuman and yelled at him like a shrew. Mom, stop it, you guys. Chu, look at your dad. Lady Qin didn't seem to let it go. Mom, stop acting. I know the two of you better than you know yourselves. Stop acting in front of me. There are too many flaws. Also, the two of you are doing this because you don't want me to leave the company, right? Okay, I didn't say I had to leave. I can stay as long as my dad doesn't interfere with any of my decisions in the future. You don't have to put on such an act. Your son isn't that stupid. Qin Chu leaned against the door and looked at his parents helplessly as he spoke his mind. Chapter 408. Qin Chu didn't know what to do. His mother's acting was very realistic, but Qin Chu immediately saw through her. After being exposed, the two of them looked a little awkward. Qin Yuman coughed lightly and lowered his head. No one knew what he was thinking. Lady Qin reached out to hold her son's arm and tried to persuade him. Don't worry, your dad won't interfere with you anymore. You can do whatever you want, even if the company goes bankrupt. The money I have in my Swiss bank account is enough for us to live for the rest of our lives. Just don't be with Huamin anymore. Didn't my dad tell you? Tell you what? Lady Qin was slightly surprised. Huamin and I are married. In fact, we already got our marriage certificate. What? Lady Qin screamed. Qin Yuman didn't tell his wife the news directly. He only tactfully told her that his son was with Huamin. Lady Qin was so angry that she stomped her feet and went to Huamin's mother's place to make a scene. What would happen if she found out that they were married? How could she be so calm? Huamin and I already got our marriage certificate 4 months ago. We've been living together ever since we moved out, Qin Chu said calmly. Lady Qin's expression completely changed. No wonder you're never sad about any woman. You're still with that vixen. Mom, please watch your words. Mian isn't a vixen. She's already your legal daughter-in-law. Uffed. I don't recognize her as my daughter-in-law or her vixen mother. It seems like I went too easy on them today. I should have torn down their shitty house and let them live on the streets. What a pair of scheming bitches. Both mother and daughter are evil, Lady Qin cursed, completely disregarding her image as a rich lady. What did you say? Qin Chu heard something and frowned slightly. I went to her house in the slums today and met her mother. That damned woman really didn't know what was good for her and even wanted to scratch me. Fortunately, I had bodyguards with me, so I didn't suffer any losses. That stinky woman even pretended to lie on the ground and wanted to scam me. It was so funny. I knew those poor people only knew how to ask for money. Actually, it's easy to get them to ask for money. How much money do they want? Why did they ask their daughter to seduce someone else's son and do such a despicable thing? I knew that girl was a vixen since she was young, and I was right. Before Lady Qin could finish her sentence, Qin Chu turned around and left. Hey son, where are you going? No matter how Lady Qin shouted behind him, Qin Chu didn't turn around. He finally understood why Huamin didn't pick up the phone. Why don't you talk some sense into your son? Did he go find that vixen again? Lady Qin looked at Qin Yuman angrily. I think you went too far this time. No matter what, you shouldn't have gone to her house to cause trouble. If something really happened to that girl's mother, it's not something that money can solve. Don't forget, your son is married to that girl, so you're in-laws with that girl's mother. I don't want to acknowledge that poor in-law. I'll be laughed at if I tell people about it. That woman was so flirtatious when she was young. She sang a few songs, acted in a few dramas, and used her looks to seduce that pervert Hu Zhenghai. What happened in the end? She was toyed with for nothing, didn't she? She got pregnant, didn't give her money, and didn't acknowledge that damned girl's identity. Who in the neighborhood wouldn't laugh at her? If it were me, I wouldn't have the face to live in this world. I'd just kill myself by slamming my head against a big poplar tree. Ew, you're always so harsh with your words. Qin Yuman looked at his wife helplessly. Lady Qin wasn't born into a rich family, but she was still a high-ranking official. Qin Chu's grandparents were both leaders of the finance bureau, so they came from wealthy families. 5 years ago, Chin Chu's grandfather passed away from an illness, and his grandmother emigrated to New Zealand with his uncle. Lady Chin was born with a sense of superiority, so she always looked down on poor women with bad reputations. She was biased against Yang Meirong, which was why she was so rude to her. Chin Chu sped all the way to Huomin's house. He knocked on the door for a long time, but no one opened it. He called Huomin's phone, but it was still turned off. "Who are you looking for?" Annie Wu walked out of her house after dinner and saw someone standing in front of Yang Meirong's house. Chapter 409. I'm looking for Huomin. She's not home. Is there anyone else at home? Chin Chu asked. No one is home. You must be Mion's boyfriend, right? Auntie Wu asked in an unfriendly tone. Yeah. Chin Chu nodded. You're just in time. When you get home, you better talk to your mom and tell her not to come here and cause trouble. Meirong has been raising 2 kids all by herself for years. It's been hard on her, and she's not in good health. Her blood pressure is very high, and she usually pays attention to her health. Now that she's here, she's bringing bodyguards and pushing and shoving, and finally, she's hospitalized. After that, your mom left with her bodyguards and didn't even pay for her medical bills. I really don't know what Mion is after. She's such a good girl. It's a pity that she's with you. Annie Wu didn't know what Chin Chu did for a living, but seeing that he drove a luxurious car and was dressed well, she guessed that he was rich. So, Annie Wu didn't care too much and pointed at Chin Chu as she rambled on. Then can you tell us where they are right now? She's hospitalized. Mion and Jixin are guarding her at the hospital. Her condition is quite serious. The surgery lasted for a few hours, and the doctor said that they still need to put in nails. I saw with my own eyes your mom and her bodyguards shove Meirong. If we go to court, I won't be afraid of you. I'll testify for her. Your mom is a woman who dresses well and is pretty, but I can't believe she's so uncouth. Also, if your parents didn't agree, why did you bother me on? You know, everyone's not happy about this. Auntie Wu was still rambling on, but Chin Chu nodded politely and said, thank you. Then, he drove straight to the hospital. Other than the first hospital, he couldn't think of anywhere else to go. As expected, when he arrived, he easily found the information in the VIP ward of the first hospital. When Chin Chu arrived, Huomin was sitting in a chair by the door. He was resting his head on his hand, deep in thought. Mion, he called out softly. Huomin slowly raised his head. The moment he saw Chin Chu, his eyes were cold, without a trace of warmth. Why didn't you answer the phone? Chin Chu walked over and asked. I don't want to. Why didn't you tell me such a big thing happened? What can I do if I tell you? Can you help my mom push your mom hard and make it even? Huomin asked coldly. Chin Chu fell silent. He had seen such a domineering Huomin before. It was 7 years ago when they had broken up. At that time, any hurtful words could be said. Chin Chu raised his hand and grabbed Huomin's shoulder. Mion, don't be like this. I didn't want things to turn out this way either. Isn't it because of you? If you didn't tell your parents, they wouldn't have come to my house to cause trouble. I've been telling you about a secret marriage, but you think I'm bullshitting, right? Huomin was slightly angry. No, I just didn't expect her to be so impulsive. I just want to be with you openly. I don't want to be in secret for the rest of my life. What's wrong with being in secret? I'm not afraid. So what are you afraid of? It's better to be in secret than to cause trouble like this, right? Do you know what a stupid thing your mom did? She brought bodyguards to my house to bully my mom. Now she's in surgery and has a lot of nails in her body. She hasn't woken up yet. What about your mom? She's having afternoon tea at home right now, right? Mion, I'll take care of this. Take care of it? How do you want to solve it? Tell me. When Annie wakes up, I'll apologize to her personally. I'll take all the blame. Chin Chu felt that this whole thing started because of him, so he was willing to take all the blame. You're funny. You're not the one in the wrong. Why would you take all the blame? Huomin's lips curled up into a cold smile. The unfamiliar Huomin made Chin Chu feel scared. Mion, listen to me. This is what I think. Chin Chu patiently pulled Huomin aside and tried to explain. To his surprise, Huomin suddenly pushed Chin Chu away, looked into his eyes, and said, Chin Chu, let's get a divorce. What did you say? Chin Chu's body trembled. Chapter 410. I said, let's get a divorce. No way, don't even think about it. Chin Chu immediately denied. From a moment he registered his marriage with Huamin, he had never thought about getting a divorce. I'm not asking for your opinion. Whether you agree or not, I will first separate from you. Then, in half a year, I will apply for a divorce. That's all. After speaking, Huamin stood up and was about to enter the hospital room. Honey, Chin Chu's heart ached as he grabbed onto Huamin's arm. Let go of me. Huamin's voice was sharp and cold. He was completely different from his usual self. Don't follow me in. My mom hasn't woken up yet. She doesn't want to see your face. After speaking, Huamin turned around and entered the hospital room. Chin Chu stood at the door of the hospital room in a daze. He felt a slight pain in his heart. This was the last thing he wanted to face, but it still happened 7 years ago. Huamin's family suddenly had an accident, and she didn't want to go to the U.S. In the end, she heartlessly broke up with him. He went to the U.S. alone and refused to come home for 7 years. He didn't even come back for his grandfather's funeral. Who would have thought that today tragedy would repeat itself, and all of these tragedies originated from his arrogant and rude mother? Chin Chu walked out of the hospital with a heavy heart. He deposited a $500,000 deposit at the front desk downstairs. Then, he drove out of the hospital. Where are you? At the police station. Come out for a drink. Now. Gao Ran was confused. Yes, now. Okay. I'll come over as soon as I'm done with this theft case. Wait for me. Then, Gao Ran hurriedly hung up the phone. At night, his mother showed no signs of waking up, so Huamin asked the doctor for advice. The doctor said that her body was weak and that she might have to wait a little longer, but her vitals had stabilized. When Huamin came back, he didn't dare to enter the hospital room. He felt guilty towards his mother. She stood at the corner of the hallway with a cigarette in her hand. This was a Russian brand. It was brown, very thin, and very strong. Huamin was not addicted to smoking, but she liked the smell of cigarettes. It was a little hobby. Therefore, she would often put a pack of cigarettes in her bag. When she was stressed or tired, she would take it out and smell it. There was no need to ignite it, but today was different. She found a lighter, lit a cigarette, and held it between her right index and middle finger. Then, he took a big gulp. Because he didn't smoke, such a sudden movement caused his lungs to be unable to adapt. He started coughing violently. Sis, do you smoke? Jing Jixin looked around before he finally found his sister. Seeing his sister smoking, he immediately snatched the cigarette from her hand, threw it on the ground, and stomped on it a few times. Huamin didn't say anything. His eyes were unfocused. Sis, if you want to cry, just cry. I know you're upset. Jing Jixin looked at his sister with heartache. He also wanted to cry. He knew that his sister was in the most difficult situation. She loved her mother, and she also loved brother Chin Chu. However, she couldn't be both loyal and filial. This was the most difficult choice. 7 years ago, his sister was forced to make a choice. 7 years later, she had to do it again. Normal people wouldn't be able to take this kind of blow. I'm not upset. I'm fine. Huamin's voice was a bit hoarse. Sis, don't blame yourself. Mom's fine. Her life isn't in danger. Jing Jixin comforted. Huamin ran her hands through her long hair and smiled weakly. Jixin, do you think your sister is too useless? Why would you say that? Jing Jixin didn't understand what his sister meant. Huamin patted Jing Jixin's shoulder. Go back and watch Mom. I'm going out for a bit. Then, Huamin hurried downstairs. Jing Jixin looked at his sister's back, a bit worried. Qin Manor. Who are you looking for? The housekeeper opened the door and saw a young woman. I'm looking for Madam. Huamin smiled slightly. Madam, someone's looking for you. Coming. Lady Qin had been up all night. Just as she took a shower and was about to put on a face mask, she heard someone looking for her. She came out in a bathrobe, and the moment she saw Huamin, her expression changed drastically. Long time no see. Huamin looked at Lady Qin and smiled like a flower. Chapter 411. What are you doing here? When Lady Qin saw Huamin, she felt uncomfortable. Although they hadn't seen each other for 7 years, Huamin's face hadn't changed much, other than the fact that he no longer looked immature. His face was still delicate and pretty, even a little cold. People who didn't know him would think that Huamin was the cold and arrogant type, but in reality, she was even colder than that. She was the type that could not be more arrogant. She acted according to the rules, was casual, and was willful. 7 years ago, Lady Qin strongly objected to her son's relationship with Huamin, and the whole school knew about it. Huamin and she had a few confrontations, so even though they hadn't seen each other for many years, she still couldn't forget Huamin's face. Huamin ignored Lady Qin's words and walked over to sit on the leather sofa in the living room. Then, he slowly leaned against it. I'm curious. I was the one who decided on my relationship with Qin Shu. Why do you keep looking for my mom? Just because she's poor and doesn't have a higher status than you, does she deserve to be bullied? Huamin's voice was cold. It's the father's fault for not teaching his son well. You didn't have a father since you were young, so if I didn't look for your mom, who would I look for? Don't tell me I'm looking for you. If you were such a sensible girl, would you? Would he still do something so shameless? As soon as this topic was brought up, Lady Qin became very agitated, and her mouth was full of nasty words. Huamin sneered, How am I shameless? You seduced my son, and you're shameless. You seduced men at such a young age. Aren't you just like your mom? But seducing men is also a skill. If you hadn't seduced Qin Shu's father, would he have taken the initiative to marry you? Upon hearing this, Lady Qin's expression changed drastically. She pointed at Huamin and yelled, You little bitch, what nonsense are you talking about? Do you think that we, the noble families, will be the same as you lowly commoners? Huamin stared at Lady Qin and said word by word, That's hard to say. Maybe you rich and powerful people like you are doing some despicable and shameless things behind the scenes. You can't even compare to us lowly commoners who are open and above board. This is called rotten on the inside, but rotten on the outside. Don't talk nonsense with me. Let me tell you, don't think that the Qin family will accept you just because you and my son are married. Dream on. Huamin shook his head. No, you're wrong. The truth is, I don't care if the Qin family recognizes me or not. It doesn't matter to me at all. What I care about is that Qin Shu recognizes me, and the law recognizes me. We didn't even get a prenuptial agreement. If I file for divorce now, I'll probably get half of GK's assets. TSK, TSK. What a great idea. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Lady Qin's face turned pale. She knew that since her idiot son had already gotten married to Qin Shu, there was no way he would get a prenuptial agreement. In other words, even if they filed for divorce now, they would have to pay Huamin a huge amount of alimony, or at least half of their assets. See, I knew it. I told you, you don't really love Chu. You're only after our family's money. Now you're finally showing your true colors, aren't you? Lady Qin accused Huamin of being greedy, and her face turned livid with anger. Huamin replied calmly, Whether I love Qin Shu or not is my own business. I don't need to prove it to anyone. Whether I'm greedy or not is my own business, and I don't need to explain it to you. You seem to hate me, don't you? I hate you. There's no woman in the world that I hate more than you. Lady Qin looked at Huamin with disgust, not hiding her true thoughts at all. So, since you hate me so much, I have a better idea. Huamin smiled slightly. What idea? Isn't it just divorcing my son and splitting his assets? We have our own legal team, and we won't let you get what you want. Lady Qin looked at Huamin's smile and had a bad feeling. She felt that this woman wasn't as simple as she seemed. Chapter 412. No, that's what I thought at first, but I suddenly changed my mind. Since you hate me so much, I won't divorce you. Not only will I not divorce you, but I will also live under your nose for the rest of my life. I won't let you get rid of me for the rest of your life. You can live in pain for the rest of your life. I think that's the best outcome for you. What did you say? After Lady Qin heard what Huamin said, her eyes widened in disbelief. She couldn't believe that this seemingly weak and delicate little girl could be so vicious when she said those words. Of course, she thought that Huamin was too vicious 7 years ago. Although they had crossed swords a few times, Huamin had never said such harsh words to her. Even back then, when her stepfather passed away, she never really said anything about Qin Shu's mother. After all, at the time, she felt that she was the one at fault, so she felt deeply guilty and blamed herself. But now, things were different. Lady Qin had gone too far, and she could already feel it. When she was unhappy, she would take it out on her mother. In the end, her mother was so angry that she was hospitalized and had to undergo major surgery. This time, she wasn't going to be soft-hearted, and she wasn't going to hold back with her words. She was going to do whatever she wanted. As expected, Lady Qin was so angry that she wanted to tear Huamin into pieces. I really didn't expect you to be so vicious at such a young age. How could my son be blinded by you? Lady Qin felt a chill run down her spine. When she thought about what Huamin just said, goosebumps appeared on her back. If what she said was true, and she had to see her for the rest of her life, then she might as well be dead. I'm vicious? Oh no. Compared to you, I'm still a little worse. You brought your bodyguards to my house and arrogantly bullied my widowed mother. That's vicious. You think you're using your power to bully others? But I believe in karma and retribution. I will slowly pay you back for what you did to my mother. Please enjoy it. After speaking, Huamin stood up and walked away. Stop right there. I'm not done yet. Lady Qin was so angry that she lunged forward to grab Huamin's arm. Huamian nimbly dodged, but she slipped and fell to the ground with her back facing the sky. Ah! Someone call the police. This woman is hitting me. Lady Qin immediately lay on the ground and wailed. Huamian stopped in her tracks and turned around to look at her, her eyes cold. Are you sure you want to call the police? Aren't you afraid that it'll affect your company, your husband, and sons of your life? I'm sure life's is my life's, as long as you send me to jail. And Qin choose what's more, as what it is. Qin choose she. You. Mrs. Qin felt as if there was a heavy weight on her chest that she couldn't release. Ma'am, what should we do? Should we call the police? The housekeeper panicked when she saw Qin Shu's wife lying on the ground and yelling about calling the police. Lady Qin wasn't stupid. She thought about what Huamin said and thought it made sense. After weighing the pros and cons, she decided not to call the police. Even if she did, it would be pointless. In the end, her son would be in a difficult position. You win, woman. Let's wait and see. Lady Qin scolded viciously. I'll be waiting. Huamin snorted and turned to leave the Qin manor. As soon as Huamin left, Lady Qin asked the housekeeper to call Qin Shu. Qin Shu was drinking with Gao Ran when he picked up the phone with a gloomy expression. Young master, bad news. A woman just came and got into a fight with Ma. She even pushed Ma to the ground. Ma is very agitated. That woman seems to be your girlfriend or something. Come back and take a look. Where's my mom? Qin Shu wasn't surprised at all because he knew his mother's temper too well. She's resting in the bedroom. Give her the phone, Qin Shu ordered. Son, you don't know, but Huamin just came to our house and threatened me. Not only did she yell at me, but she also hit and pushed me. That evil woman, you can't be with her anymore. Do you hear me? Did she come to our house? Qin Shu's eyes softened when he heard Huamin's name. Chapter 413. She really came. I didn't lie to you. That woman is outrageous. Lady Qin rambled on. Qin Shu was silent for a long time before he quietly said, Mom, I love her very much. Why are you so useless? Do you know what she said to me? She said she married you and divorced you because she wanted to get a share of your assets. It would be great if that was the case. I have plenty of money. If she loves money, I can give her as much as she wants as long as she doesn't leave, Qin Shu slowly said. That woman also said that she suddenly decided not to divorce me because she wants to piss me off. She's going to be my enemy for the rest of my life. Tell me, how evil is she? She's so young, but she's already so evil. What did our Qin family do to deserve this? Son, how can you like a woman like her? There's so many women in the world, but you don't want them. Why do you want to go back to the same old woman? Do you want to piss me off? Lady Qin originally wanted to complain to her son about Huamin's evilness, but to her surprise, her son was so disappointing. She said, she's not going to divorce me? Chin Chu's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise, and the tone of his voice changed slightly as he held the phone. Yeah, she's trying to piss me off. Her parents didn't teach her well. She's so uncultured. Son, listen to me. Don't be with her anymore. Hurry up and get a divorce. We have a team of lawyers. When the time comes, we'll frame her as having an affair and make her leave with nothing. Lady Chin rambled on. However, Chin Chu wasn't listening to her at all. There was only one key word in his mind. Hua Min said she wasn't going to divorce him. No matter what her intentions were, it was a good thing that she wasn't going to divorce him. Chin Chu felt a lot more at ease. Mom, Hua Min is your only daughter-in-law. You have to treat her well. After speaking, Chin Chu immediately hung up the phone. What? I have to treat her well? Are you trying to piss me off? Hello? Hello? Lady Chin yelled on the other end of the phone. But the other end hung up by the time she tried calling back. Chin Chu had already said it so that she couldn't get through. Lady Chin was so angry that she complained to the housekeeper for the whole night. When Chin Yuman returned, she told him what had happened. After hearing this, Chin Yuman said in a serious tone, I think the reason why this matter worsened was because you went to her house and caused trouble first. I heard that her mother was seriously injured. I also think that you went a little overboard. It's not strange that she treated you this way. What are you talking about? Why are you speaking for an outsider? I'm not helping outsiders. I'm just stating facts. Chin Yuman sighed. What are you talking about? The truth is that the little vixen came to show off in front of me. She even said that she would live under my nose for the rest of her life. How shameless. Lady Chin screamed. Calm down. It's not good to calm down. She challenged me like this, but I'm not afraid of her. I want her to regret messing with me. Lady Chin was a hot-tempered woman. After being provoked by Hua Min, she immediately became furious. She was determined to fight to the death with Hua Min. She didn't even think about what she did wrong that night. After leaving the Chin Manor, Hua Min didn't go back to the hospital. Instead, she wandered down the street in a beige windbreaker. The autumn night was very cool. Sometimes a cold wind would blow. At this moment, she didn't know where she should go. She didn't want to go back to Imperial Park. There was no one in the courtyard either. Her mother and Jixin were both at the hospital. Sis, where are you? Jixin called. Outside. Sis, our mother is awake. Come back, Jing Jixin said anxiously. Chapter 414. Okay, take care of her for now. After hanging up, Hua Min sighed slightly. She was a little scared. She didn't know how to face her mother. She wasn't afraid of being scolded, but she was afraid of her mother's silent complaints. That was scarier than any words. Hua Min involuntarily walked to the entrance of Seductive Fox nightclub. The last time she came here, she was here to pick up Zhu Lingling. In the end, a war broke out, and she ended up in court. This time, because she had nowhere else to go, she had walked in by accident. The first floor was a bar. It was more than 500 square meters in size, and the loud music was deafening. Pretty lady, what would you like to drink? The waiter asked politely. A dozen Budweiser. Thank you, Hua Min said faintly. Okay, please wait a moment. Not long after, the waiter came up with beer bottles. Do you want me to open them? Open them all. Hua Min nodded. Okay. The waiter opened all 12 bottles of beer for Hua Min. She sat at a wooden square table in the southeast corner of the bar. Not far away, in the middle of the stage, was a group of beautiful Russian women pole dancing. Around the dance floor were many men and women dancing to the loud music. Hua Min looked at the lively scene and felt even more depressed. She suddenly remembered a song, Leaves by Ah Sang. There were two lines in the song. Loneliness is a party. A party is the loneliness of a group of people. Perhaps the people here all felt lonely, so they came out to get drunk in the dark. Hua Min was drinking a bottle of beer when she suddenly heard a man's voice behind her. Pretty lady, are you alone? Hua Min turned around to see a middle-aged man in a white shirt and black pants. He looked elegant and had a smile on his face. Hua Min glanced at him but didn't respond. Then, she turned back to continue drinking. Is there something you're unhappy about? Why did you order so much? The man didn't seem to give up. He walked over and sat down in front of Hua Min's table. Huamin still didn't say anything. The man raised his hand and made a sound. The waiter immediately walked over. "Sir, how may I help you?" "A bottle of Jack Denny, 2 fruit platters, and some snacks." "Yes, sir. Please wait a moment." After the waiter left, the man looked at Huamin with interest and said with a smile, "I like beautiful women like you the most." Huamin glanced at him in disgust. "I hate beasts like you who lose girls in nightclubs." "Beast in human clothing? Me?" The man was obviously a little surprised. "Could it be me?" Huamin replied coldly. "Ha, that's a good word. It's really apt to describe me." The man smiled as if he did not care. "Sir, here's your drink." After a short while, the waiters came in one after another with wine and fruits, as well as many plates of snacks. "Beauty, shall I treat you to a drink?" In front of Huamin, the man opened the bottle of imported wine, mixed some ice and black tea, and poured 2 glasses. He poured one of the glasses for Huamin. "I like Budweiser." Huamin didn't look at him, and instead looked straight ahead. The man carefully looked at Huamin's side profile. Under the light, he actually thought that this woman was quite interesting. Most of the women in nightclubs dressed too revealing and sexy, so when he saw Huamin, who was wearing a beige windbreaker, jeans, and heels with her hair in a bun, his eyes lit up. She was dressed casually, but she looked very intellectual. "Beauty, let's get to know each other. Is this my business card?" The man took out a golden business card from his pocket and pushed it over. Pushing it over, Huamin glanced at it casually and smiled. "You're an employee of GK?" Huamin looked at her and finally smiled. "Yes, nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Wang Tao, the deputy director of GK's IT department." "Nice to meet you." "Oh, Mr. Wang, nice to meet you. I'm the wife of GK's CEO, Mr. Qin Shu." Huamin. The middle-aged man's expression changed upon hearing this, and then he laughed out loud. "Beauty, don't joke around. I'm serious. How about you ask your president?" Huamin raised the wine bottle in his hand and smiled mysteriously. Chapter 415. Stop fooling around. Our president came back to China less than half a year ago. "We've been married less than half a year," Huamin replied. "But I haven't heard anything about our president being married. He doesn't even have a girlfriend." Wang Tao carefully recalled what he had heard about his big boss. "An employee of your level doesn't have that much right to know, does he?" "Ha! I still don't believe you. Your joke is a bit too much." Wang Tao was 100% sure that this woman was bluffing. Although he could tell that this woman was dressed in international luxury clothing, that didn't mean that she was the president's wife. Huamin put down his beer, took out his phone, and slowly said, "So, do you want to make a bet?" "What bet?" Wang Tao froze. "I'm going to call Qin Shu right now and ask him to fire you immediately. If you receive a notice from GK tomorrow morning, then I'm telling the truth. If you don't, then I'm lying. But you have to think this through. You're betting your entire career on this bet. After all, it wasn't easy for you to get promoted to deputy director at GK, right? Let me do the math. With your current position, your annual salary plus bonuses should be no less than 800,000 yuan a year. Not bad." Wang Tao's heart began to pound upon hearing this woman's words. "What if you're messing with me? What if you lose? If I lie, then I'll kowtow to you in front of GK tomorrow morning and call you daddy, okay?" "No need." The man wasn't an idiot, seeing how confident Huamin was. Although he was skeptical, he didn't dare to bet his entire career on this bet. After all, he worked hard for this position for many years. He wasn't young anymore. He was already 37 years old and finally had a successful career. If he lost everything because of this, wouldn't he cry himself to death? So, in the end, Wang Tao didn't dare to make this bet with Huamin. "Beauty, since we're here, let's have a drink and get to know each other." Wang Tao thought a lot. If this woman really was the president's wife, then it was necessary for him to flatter her a little. If he said something nice about her in the future, he might be able to get promoted. "Aren't you afraid that your president will fire you for harassing his wife like this? Be smart and leave quickly. Don't make me lose my patience. Otherwise, you'll regret it." Huamin hated being hit on or harassed in bars. She only came here because she was in a bad mood and wanted to have a drink. Therefore, he gave him a very unfriendly warning. Wang Tao didn't dare to break the rules. He nodded. All right then. Goodbye. Take your time. After Wang Tao left, Huamin sent a WeChat message to Zhu Lingling. He wanted to ask her to come out, but there was no reply. Zhu Lingling did not reply, which meant that she was still on the plane. She had known Zhu Lingling for many years, but she still couldn't figure out her schedule. It was always a mess. There was no pattern to it either. At this time, a table of people came over. There were about 12 of them, both men and women. One of them was bald and looked fat. He was wearing a flowery shirt and a thick gold necklace. He was sitting in the middle. He had two beautiful women on his left and right sides. As soon as they sat down, the waiter brought over a lot of drinks and fruit platters. Big brother Young, there's a nice chick over there. A man with a protruding mouth and monkey-like cheeks pointed at Huamin. The bald man looked over and squinted his eyes for a long time. Go, tell her to come over and have a drink with me. Okay. The man with a protruding mouth and monkey-like cheeks got up and walked over. Hey, beautiful, my big brother wants to have a drink with you. Huamin directly ignored him. Beautiful, my big brother is a famous person. He won't let you drink for free. I'll give you 1,000 yuan tip for a drink. How about that? The man asked with a smile. Huamin finally reacted. She turned her head and looked at the bald man. She said faintly, tell your big brother to come over and have a drink with me. I'll give him 10,000 yuan. How about that? What? The man thought he heard wrong. Chapter 416. Forget it if you didn't hear me clearly. I won't repeat myself. Huamin truly felt that there were a lot of idiots in bars. After one fly left, another group came. How could people drink in peace? This was Seductive Fox, the most high-end bar in the city. If it was a small bar, there would be even more despicable people trying to hit on her. The monkey-faced man glanced at Huamin and asked with a sense of superiority, Woman, do you know who my brother is? Brother Yong of Jiangbei. Do you know him? He's an asshole. Do you know him? I've never heard of Brother Yong of Jiangbei, but I do know that there's an infamous stinky tofu in Jiangbei. Is he the owner? The monkey-faced man was speechless. And what the hell is an asshole? Does he walk in the streets at night? Huamin deliberately blinked her big eyes and asked. The monkey-faced man was speechless. Very well, just you wait. Then, the man returned to his seat and said something to the bald man. The bald man seemed to be in a good mood and kept looking over. Finally, the bald man stood up and walked over with his big belly. He looked to be at least 40 years old, but he was wearing a flowery shirt and jeans. His jeans were almost out of shape and the waistband was about 3 feet and 5 inches long. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this mix and match. If they were on the streets of England, she really wanted to ask if this uncle was doing some kind of performance art. Beauty, I heard from my brother that you asked me to drink with you. You're the first person who dared to ask me to drink with you. If you walk by the river often, your shoes will get wet. There's a first time for everything. There's no surprise. Huamin's tone was very calm. She wasn't afraid of the 5 or 6 tattooed bodyguards behind the bald man. It wasn't that Huamin wanted to die. It was because after the incident last time, Qin Shu immediately knew what had happened and even saw the video. He was able to get the video after the Zhou family tampered with it. This could only mean one thing. Qin Shu should be very familiar with the big boss behind this nightclub, so Huamin felt that even if she was alone here, she would still be able to find him. There wouldn't be any danger either. Even if there was danger, there would definitely be someone to save him. That was why she was so confident. Therefore, Huamin was smarter than most people. She knew how to keep herself in a safe zone. He wouldn't do those stupid things that wouldn't lead to death if he didn't seek death. In fact, she had guessed correctly. From the moment she entered the room, a man had been staring at the screen on the top floor of Seductive Fox. Sir, Miss Hui is here. Keep an eye on her and protect her. As the boss of Seductive Fox, Rick was well aware of the relationship between Huamin and Qin Shu. Thus, when he saw Huamin enter, he didn't dare make any mistakes. Until these Jianghu vagabonds surrounded Huamin. The people behind him were a little nervous. Sir, do you want us to settle this? No rush. Let's wait and see. Rick rubbed his chin and looked at the woman on the screen. No wonder she was Chin Chu's woman. She was indeed different. She swaggered in and drank alone. She didn't wear heavy makeup or revealing clothes, but people could still tell that she was different. She was able to shine in a sea of people like this. Beautiful, I can drink with you, but De Jong, won't do this for free. I need to be paid. You said a glass of wine for 10,000 yuan, right? I don't need money. I have money. I'll drink with you, and you'll spend the night with me. How about that? The bald man smiled lewdly. Huamin sneered. Spend the night with you? Aren't you afraid that you won't live to see tomorrow morning? Chapter 417. Bitch, what are you talking about? His lackeys were the first to get angry when they saw their boss get scolded by a woman. Hey, don't get so worked up. Pretty girls are funny. I like it. Baldy was used to seeing women who try to curry favor with him. So when he saw Huamin, a young and calm woman, he was stunned and special. Therefore, he wasn't angry at Huamin's words. Pretty girl, let me put it this way. Today, whether I drink this beer or not, you're not leaving. Why are you arguing with me? Baldy's blatant threat was met with a smile by Huamin. I don't want to cause trouble. I just want to drink quietly. Hurry up and leave. If you keep bothering me, I'll be in trouble. Ah, you're so cute. I really want to see how I'll be in trouble. Baldy laughed out loud when he heard Huamin's words. Huamin didn't say anything. She slowly picked up a bottle of beer and continued to drink, unhurried and unhurried. Jiang Qinyong. A man called out his name from behind him. Baldy turned around, and his expression immediately changed. Young Master Wei, why are you here? Baldy looked away Liao like a dog that saw its owner. Actually, Jiang Qinyong wasn't a real gangster. He was just a slightly more famous local hooligan. He relied on forceful demolitions and threats to make huge profits. His reputation was terrible. He was also very smart. He only dared to bully normal bosses and didn't dare to offend the real rich people in this city. For example, Su Yu and Wei Liao. I was fucking far away when I saw you bullying a girl, Wei Liao cursed. Then, a few people walked over. Behind Wei Liao was none other than Su Yu, who was wearing a khaki jacket. Besides Su Yu was Wei Liao and another young man. The four of them played at Seductive Fox for a few hours and were about to go back to sleep. When he went downstairs, Wei Liao immediately spotted Huamin in the corner. Then he saw this group of scum harassing Huamin. At that time, Su Yu's eyes turned green. He wanted nothing more than to kill someone. No, he just drinking. Baldy's attitude towards Wei Liao was like that of a father. When he saw Su Yu clearly behind him, he almost knelt down and kowtowed 3 times. Su, Lord Su, you're here too? The bald man asked with a trembling voice. Without another word, Su Yu stepped forward and kicked the Baldy in the stomach. The kick made the bald man stagger and lie on the ground. It was as funny as a turtle being flipped over. Brother Yong, big bro, the lackeys behind him couldn't stand it anymore and immediately went up to help him up. Don't touch me. Let Lord Su continue. Baldy didn't dare to offend Su Yu, so he continued to suck up to him. Su Yu slowly walked up and stepped on Baldy's stomach. Then, he crushed it with all his might. Ugh. It was obvious that Bald Head was in a lot of pain as he let out some muffled groans. If I see you or your men harassing her again, your memorial tablet will appear at the North Mountain Wasteland tomorrow morning, Su Yu said word by word. His entire body was emitting a chilling aura. When Su Yu was angry, the look in his phoenix eyes was as sharp as a blade, making people feel that they were extremely sharp. Yes, Lord Su, I was wrong. I didn't know she was yours. No matter how stupid Baldy was, he knew what Su Yu meant. He really regretted not listening to that woman. He endured the pain in his stomach, raised his head, and slapped himself hard. He wanted to show his sincerity to Su Yu. Forget it. Lord Su, why bother with a dog? Wei Liao smiled. Tang Chuan also smiled and interrupted. Yeah, and it's just a Shar-Pei. After a while, Su Yu slowly lifted his foot. Get out, yes, Lord Su. Baldy saw that Su Yu finally let him go, so he immediately got up and left with his men. He didn't dare to stay for a moment. After everything was done, Su Yu walked up to Huamin. Seeing the 6 empty bottles in front of her, his heart ached slightly. What made you so depressed that you drank so much? Chapter 418. It's none of your business. Huamin turned her head and continued to drink. She told the bald guy that he was in trouble not because she knew that Suyu was here. It was because she knew that the person behind the bar was about to make a move. She didn't know what the relationship between that person and Chinshu was, but she knew that the person would definitely protect her. She just didn't expect that Suyu would step in at such a critical moment. "Waiter, give me a dozen of the same beer as hers." Suyu waved his hand. When the waiter saw that the customer had spoken, he immediately brought the beer over. Suyu didn't say anything. He opened the beer and drank one beer at a time. He drank 6 in a row. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were so scared that they almost peed their pants. Is Lord Su cheating? Wei Liao was dumbfounded. I think he's overexcited. Tang Chuan was also stunned. Although Suyu had a high alcohol tolerance because he frequented nightclubs, he didn't see him drink so much. Even if Budweiser was a small bottle, drinking 6 in a row was still very dangerous. "Okay? What are you doing?" After Huamin saw the 6 empty bottles, he finally looked at Suyu in the eye. "I've caught up to you. From now on, I'll drink with you. It's fair." After speaking, he picked up the 7th bottle. Suyu clinked his bottle with Huamin's and slowly drank. To be honest, when Suyu drank like he didn't care about his life, Huamin felt that this Tyrannosaurus Rex could be so manly. "Are you in a bad mood?" "Yeah," Huamin replied gloomily. "Why?" "I don't want to talk about it." Suyu, "Well, since you don't want to say it, then don't say it. Let's drink." Suyu continued to pick up the beer. "Looks like we won't go home until we're drunk tonight," Wei Liao said in a low voice. "But after drinking too much, isn't that place unable to get hard? Are you sure you want to drink that much? Isn't picking up girls your main purpose?" Tang Chuan looked at Suyu with heartache. "Ahem, aren't you thinking too much?" Wei Liao was shocked by Tang Chuan's words. Although Suyu was indeed interested in the girl, he would never take her away tonight. There was no way Suyu would do something so despicable. Suyu had never drunk alcohol in the bar on the first floor. This time he swaggered down. Just by drinking in a corner, he was already causing a huge commotion. If it weren't for the waiters and security guards of the nightclub, many women would have taken off their clothes to show off. All they wanted was for Lord Su to get close to them. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were on guard duty for him, so they had enough to worry about. After more than an hour, he finished all 12 bottles of beer. Huamin's cheeks were slightly red because of the alcohol. However, his eyes were still bright and deep, and he didn't look drunk at all. "Your alcohol tolerance is pretty good," Suyu complimented. "I'm not drinking anymore. It's boring." Huamin stood up. "Waitress, the bill, please." "Miss, young master Su has already paid," the waitress said politely. "How much is the total?" Huamin asked. "The total is 994 yuan." Huamin slowly opened his wallet, took out 500 yuan, and handed it to Suyu. "What are you doing?" Suyu slightly furrowed his eyebrows. "We drank a total of 994 yuan worth of beer. If we split the bill, it would be 497 yuan per person, but I don't have any change, so I'll give you 3 extra yuan. Take it." After speaking, Huamin placed the 500 yuan in Suyu's hand. Then, she turned around and walked away. "Damn girl, stop right there," Suyu roared. Huamin continued to walk away without looking back. Suyu quickly chased after her. "This woman is so generous. She even split the bill. Ha ha, she's so damn cute. No wonder Lord Su likes her, I like her too." Tang Chuan laughed like crazy when he saw Huamin's attitude for the first time. Wei Liao pursed his lips and said, "That's why I said she's weird. She's always so weird when something happens." He used to think that Suyu was ruthless enough, but compared to this woman, he was nothing. She was even more ruthless than Suyu. She actually gave Suyu 500 yuan. This was something that had never happened to Suyu in his 20-something years of life. No wonder he was so angry. "Huamin," Suyu shouted as he walked out a seductive fox. "Yes. Stop right there. If you have something to say, say it." Huamin helplessly stopped walking. Chapter 419. What do you mean by giving me money? It means we'll split the bill. What the hell is split the bill? Suyu asked with a frown. It means you spend your money, and I'll spend mine. Is there a need to make such a clear distinction? Suyu was furious. Homin nodded. There is, because I'm not close enough with you for you to treat me to a drink. I realize that you're really not cute. I never said I was cute. You're so unreasonable. Who would like you? Suyu was furious. I'm just admiring myself. Okay? Lord Su. Homin made a face at Suyu. Then, she turned around and walked away. Hey, where are you going? I'm going back. It's so late. It's not safe to wander around the streets. I'll give you a ride. No need. Homin refused right away. What? You're already so drunk. Why are you giving me a ride? Forget it. I don't want to get detained by the traffic police. They'll probably check me for drunk driving, so I'll just take a cab and leave. After speaking, Homin stopped the cab. Homin, come back here. After Suyu came out, he felt a little dizzy from the alcohol. He wanted to grab Homin, but he felt that his footsteps were too light, and he was walking in an S shape. In the end, he could only watch angrily as the cab left. Lord Su was left standing in the wind with 500 yuan in his hand. What's going on? Where's the girl? Tang Chuan came out and saw Suyu standing there alone. So he asked in a teasing tone. It's obvious that she's gone, leaving our young master Su to wallow in melancholy. Tang Chuan walked over and looked down at the 5 RMB notes in Suyu's hand. Lord Su has a lot of money. I don't care about this little money. Give it to me. I'll go to the dessert shop to drink something and pick up a girl. Before Tang Chuan's hand could touch the money, Suyu dodged and grabbed the 500 yuan tightly, as if it was something very important. Wei Liao, drive me back. Why don't you open it yourself? Wei Liao rolled his eyes. I drank. Haven't the traffic police been very strict recently? Suyu got into the front passenger seat of the Lamborghini. Uffed. You're afraid of drunk driving? Don't tease me. Master, which traffic police in the city doesn't know you? Who's tired of living and dares to stop you? Wei Liao felt like vomiting blood. But I want to obey the traffic rules today. Suyu said willfully. Wei Liao was speechless. Tang Chuan was speechless. In the end, Wei Liao couldn't go against Lord Su's orders. He sat in the driver's seat of the Lamborghini and drove Suyu home. On the way home, Lord Su didn't say anything. He seemed to have a soft spot for the 500 yuan. He glanced at it, then glanced at it. Wei Liao was puzzled. I say, what's different about the 500 yuan? You seem to be very interested. Suyu didn't say anything. Wei Liao took the opportunity when he wasn't paying attention and snatched it. Hey, get back to me. Wei Liao held the steering wheel with one hand and the money with the other. He looked at it carefully, but didn't find anything strange. On the back of one of the banknotes, there were 5 blurry words written on it. Good for you. So, you're a believer of a certain wheel? Wei Liao teased. Fuck off. So you immediately snatched the 5 RMB notes back. Wei Liao smiled and didn't say anything else. Actually, he knew that Suyu wanted the money because it was given to him by Homin. That's why he cherished it so much. He purposely didn't say anything to tease him. Right now, Lord Su was like a young man who was experiencing his first awakening of love. He was the epitome of a naive, sweet boy. On the other hand, Homin was like a cold CEO in a romance novel. He didn't give a damn about Suyu at all. Why did it feel like their positions were completely reversed? I say, Lord Su, if you really like the girl, you should continue to pursue her and put in more effort. Haven't you heard of a saying? What saying? Suyu glanced at Wei Liao and asked. Chapter 420. There are no couples that can't be broken up, only homewreckers that don't work hard. So, you have to be a dedicated homewrecker and break them up, Wei Liao encouraged her. You're the fucking dedicated homewrecker. Stop bullshitting me and focus on driving. Don't fucking hit a tree. Suyu gave Wei Liao a headshotting reminder. Wei Liao chuckled. Homin drinks so much, yet she wasn't drunk. It was quite miraculous. The truth was, she just felt too bitter and didn't want to talk about it. When she got into the taxi and the driver asked her where she wanted to go, she didn't know what to do. Back to Imperial Park? She didn't want to go back to her old house. There was no one home yet. Miss, where are you going? The taxi driver asked. Let's drive around the city first. Huamin was a little sad. The taxi went round and round, and after about an hour, the taxi meter had already jumped to over 300 yuan. Finally, Huamin said, "Go to the first hospital in the city center." Finally, the car stopped in front of the hospital. Huamin got out of the car and felt a gust of cold wind. She tightened her collar. She had already turned off her phone, so she didn't know how many calls Qin Shu had made. Qin Shu and Gao Ren finished drinking and returned home. They felt bad when they saw the empty house. He called Huamin, but her phone was off. He sent her a WeChat message, but she didn't reply. He felt very, very bad. Finally, he took out a bottle of red wine from the wine cabinet and poured himself another one. Outside the VIP room, Huamin stood outside the door for a long time, not daring to go in. She heard from Jixin that her mom was awake, but she suddenly didn't dare to face her mom. "Sis, why are you standing here?" Jixin was about to go out and call his sister when he saw Huamin smoking at the door. He snatched the cigarette from Huamin's hand and said, "Don't smoke. It will increase the risk of lung cancer." "It's all right," Huamin replied calmly. "Sis, did you drink?" Jixin frowned slightly as he smelled the alcohol on his sister's body. Huamin didn't say anything. He leaned his back against the wall of the hospital corridor and sighed slightly. "Mom is awake. She's in a good mood. She's not as bad as you think. Although she didn't mention you, I think she still wants to see you." "I don't dare." Huamin spoke his mind. "I think that even if Mom scolds you, it's just her mouth. She still loves you very much in her heart. You can't face these things sooner or later, can you?" Although Jing Jixin was young, his words made a lot of sense. Huamin remained silent. "Sis, will you break up with Qin Shu because of this?" "I haven't decided yet. I don't want the two of you to break up. You've already missed out on 7 years. Don't miss out on another 7 years because of your family. Life isn't long. How many years do you have to squander?" "Jixin, there are some things that you don't understand. Love isn't enough. We live in this world, and sometimes we can't just live for ourselves. That's too selfish." "I know, but I still hope that you won't back down so easily. Don't give up on someone you love because of some difficulties. After all, once you miss out on someone, you won't be able to find them again. You've been thinking about Qin Shu all these years, haven't you? Last time I saw you guys at the movie theater, I saw the sincere smile on your face from afar. I knew that you were happy. You never had that expression on your face when you were with Ning Ziyuan." Huamin lowered his head. It wasn't clear if he was thinking about what Jixin said or if he was thinking about something else. "Sis, don't run away from love. Persevere. Don't give up so easily. No wonder you don't care about what Mom thinks. But if Mom wants you to marry Su Liang, would you be willing? In order to please Mom, would you be willing to live with a man you don't love? Life is your own, and only you know if it's hot or cold. Sis, you have such a high IQ and EQ, but why can't you see your own story clearly?" "Jixin, anyways, even if things are this bad, I still hope that you can persevere and protect your own happiness." Then, Jing Jixin patted Huamin's shoulder. "Stop smoking. If you do it again, I'll cut ties with you. Huamin, I'm going to go buy some supper. Wait for me." After speaking, Jing Jixin walked toward the door. Huamin was crestfallen. Just as he was about to open the door and enter the room, he heard someone call his name. "Why are you here?" It was really unexpected to see Gao Ran at the hospital in the middle of the night. Qin Shu was just sent here for gastric bleeding. "He's in the ER right now," Gao Ran said indifferently as he stared at Huamin's face. Upon hearing this, Huamin's eyes filled with fear. Chapter 421. "Where is he now?" "He's in the emergency room downstairs," Gao Ran said coldly. Huamin didn't have time to think and ran downstairs. "Doctor, how is he?" Huamin panicked. For the first time, she felt fear in her heart. What if something happened to Qin Shu because of this? How was she going to live the rest of her life? The patient drank too much, causing gastric mucosa damage and massive bleeding. Fortunately, he was sent here in time. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. We've already taken measures to inject him with fluids. It seems like he needs to rest for a few days. Also, he needs to be on a liquid diet for the next few days. He needs to be hospitalized for a few weeks, a few attending doctors said to Huamin as they walked out. Huamin was relieved when she heard that everything was fine. Young people these days don't know how to cherish themselves. They drank so much. They were asking for death. The doctors chatted as they walked. Huamin felt terrible. She knew that Qin Shu was never an alcoholic. He never drank too much. Even when he was with important clients, he would only drink one glass. But this time, he drank until he had gastric bleeding. It must have something to do with her. She turned off her phone and didn't pick up his calls. She even said such harsh words to him. No wonder he was sad. Huamin followed the nurse and pushed Qin Shu all the way to the VIP room. Looking at his pale face, Huamin felt a dull pain in her heart. She regretted it very much. Why did she say such heartless words? She clearly didn't mean what she said. Qin Shu's mother was extremely annoying, but she couldn't vent her anger on Qin Shu. She was so smart, but she still neglected this point. She neglected her own importance in Qin Shu's heart, and Qin Shu's feelings for her over the past 7 years. Inside the room, Huamin held Qin Shu's hand. His fingers were white and slender, but at this moment they were cold without any warmth. It made her heart ache to hold them. He looked very good sleeping with his eyes closed. His eyelashes were slightly curled. He was very quiet, like a child. "I'm sorry." Huamian sniffed and almost cried. Just then, Gao Ran pushed the door open and asked, "How is he?" "He's fine. The doctor said he'll be fine after a few days of rest." "Come with me," Gao Ran said coldly. Huamian got up and tucked Qin Shu in before following Gao Ran out of the room. "Do you know why he's like this, Mom?" Gao Ran asked coldly. Huamin was silent. "Do you know how much he loves you?" Gao Ran asked again. Huamin was still silent. "Huamian, we've known each other for a long time, and I think of you as a good friend, so I'll be frank with you. I know that you and Qin Shu are married, so you shouldn't fight over a little conflict. You're an adult, so don't be impulsive. Some words are like spilled water, and they're hurtful. I've known him for so many years, and he's a strong man with almost no weaknesses. But 7 years ago, you became his weakness, and you had him under your thumb. I even think that he's obsessed with you, and you hurt him so deeply because of external factors. How can you bear to do that? How could you bear to hurt him like this? Huamin, I really want to know if you're a heartless woman, or if you have a heart of stone. This was the first time Gao Ran had spoken so harshly. Huamin wasn't surprised at all. She listened quietly without any intention of retorting. Seeing that Huamin was still silent, Gao Ran felt depressed. He pulled out a cigarette from his pocket, lit it, and took a deep puff before asking, "You probably don't know why he didn't contact you after going to the States for 7 years." Upon hearing this, Huamin raised her head and looked at Gao Ran. She had a feeling that there was something that Gao Ran knew about, but she didn't. Why? She should have known why Qin Shu didn't contact her or come back to the States for 7 years if he loved her so much. Chapter 422. Because he made a bet with his father, Gao Ran slowly said with a cigarette dangling from his lips. What bet? Huamin felt like the truth was about to be revealed. After a moment of silence, Gao Ran took the cigarette out of his mouth, flicked the ash off, and slowly said, 7 years ago, Qin Shu was still a young boy, not enough to give you a clear and bright future. Therefore, he made a promise with his father that he would study abroad for 7 years and come back to take over the family business. He was not allowed to come back for 7 years, nor was he allowed to contact you or anyone else in the country. Why did he agree to his father's request so easily? Huamin was confused. Because his father gave him a very tempting condition. What condition? Huamin felt like this condition must have something to do with her. As expected, Gao Ran looked at her meaningfully and said, after 7 years, his father would agree to your marriage. He said that he only had one request, and that was to marry you, Huamin. Therefore, even though his father's condition was very harsh, he still agreed. He didn't even come back to his grandfather's funeral. Do you know how he survived these past 7 years? He only had one thing in his heart, and that was to marry you, Huamin. I think this is Qin Shu's biggest dream. After hearing what Gao Ran said, Huamin stood there dumbly. Maybe it was the smell of the cigarette, or maybe it was something else. But she actually started crying. Tears silently fell from her eyes. She used to think that Qin Shu went abroad for his own future and family business, and that it had nothing to do with her. But after hearing that Qin Shu studied medicine, she realized that things weren't that simple. Now that she heard that Qin Shu didn't come back for 7 years because of a bet that had something to do with her, she couldn't hold it in anymore. Gao Ran was right. Even if she had a heart of stone, at this moment, it melted. Although his father didn't keep his word and still doesn't approve of him being with you, he never wavered. He even planned to resign from his position as GK's president and take you away from here to start a new life. How did you repay him? As the woman he loves the most in his life, you keep talking about divorce and separation. Do you know that his heart is bleeding? Marriage is not child's play. Even if you were forced to get married, didn't you choose it yourself? Why are you going back on your words now? In my opinion, you should leave him for real and go far away, completely cutting off his thoughts and saving him from suffering. Otherwise, you should stay together and not torture him like this. He will die. Gao Ran's eyes were bloodshot as he spoke. Tonight, he had personally witnessed Qin Shu's reckless behavior. After drinking so much with him, he drank so much himself when he went back. If it weren't for the fact that Qin Shu didn't pick up his calls, he felt that something was wrong. So, he used the police station's computer to locate Qin Shu and went to Imperial Park to look for him. He wouldn't have known that Qin Shu had fainted from stomach bleeding. If no one found out, he really didn't know if he would be able to see his good friend the next morning. Huamin, I beg you, stop torturing him. Killing him is just a matter of time. Can't you just give him a quick death? Huamin was sobbing so hard that he couldn't speak. Thank you for telling me so much. So what are your plans? Gao Ran asked coldly. Huamin didn't answer directly, and Gao Ran didn't know what Huamin was thinking. However, judging from his reaction, Huamin probably cared a lot about Qin Shu, or else he wouldn't be crying like this after the two finished talking. Gao Ran left the hospital in exhaustion. Huamin walked into the room and soaked a towel in warm water to wipe Qin Shu's face. After she was done, she picked up the towel and was about to soak it again when she got up. Suddenly, someone grabbed her hand. Come on. Qin Shu grabbed onto Huamin's wrist and weakly opened his eyes, calling out her name. Chapter 423. You're awake? Huamin's voice was extremely hoarse. Don't go. He held onto her hand tightly and refused to let go. His tone was a little coquettish. This was a side of Qin Shu that Huamin had never seen before. The Qin Shu she knew was arrogant, quiet, cold, and uninterested in anything other than her. Now, he was lying weakly on the hospital bed. His face was pale, and his lips were slightly purple. Everything about him looked so heartbreaking. I'm not leaving. Huamin turned around and sat down beside his bed. Mian, I'm really sorry for what my mother did. If I knew that she would be so extreme, I wouldn't have told my father about our marriage. I didn't think it through and cause your mother so much harm. Qin Shu's voice was weak, but his eyes were filled with sincerity. Huamin could tell that Qin Shu was sincerely apologizing on behalf of his mother. Forget it, you can't be blamed for what your mother did. After all, she's you, and you're her. You can't pay for what she did with your life. The law doesn't even allow a son to pay for a father's debt, let alone take responsibility for her mistake. Huamin calmed down a lot after sorting out her thoughts. Although she still felt guilty towards her mother, she wouldn't take her anger out on Qin Shu anymore. She could argue with Qin Shu's mother, but she couldn't continue to argue with Qin Shu because of this. After all, he was so good to her. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Qin Shu was quite surprised. He thought that Huamin would complain a lot, but she didn't. She didn't even want to hold him responsible for anything. So you don't blame me? Qin Shu looked at Huamin's face and asked in a low voice. Blame? Of course. If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten. Who made you drink so much wine? Do you know how dangerous you are? Gastric mucosa will fall off and bleed profusely. Severe gastric bleeding can kill you. Huamian's face was full of anger. She was angry that Qin Shu didn't care about his health. I know. Chin Chu smiled bitterly. He was also a medical student. I would not know this. If you knew, why did you still do it? Do you want to die? Huamin angrily pulled his hand away from Chin Chu's. Helplessly, he held her tightly, and she couldn't break free. I only know that if we separate again, I will also die, Chin Chu said word by word. After hearing this, Huamin felt as if his heart had been pierced by many needles, and he felt a stinging pain. Her eyes were red as she looked at the haggard but unbelievably handsome man on the hospital bed. Chin Chu, are you stupid? Of course not. I think I'm very smart. You think you're smart? Huamin asked angrily. She didn't think that someone who played around with his life was smart. Because I married the smartest woman in the world. Huamin didn't say anything. She looked at Chin Chu with deep affection. She couldn't imagine how he had survived 7 years in a foreign country with only one belief. This man had sacrificed so much, but she had always been timid and worried about too many things. Jixin was right. How many years did she have to squander in her life? This time, she didn't want to run away from love. Huamin turned around and picked up the towel to gently wipe Chin Chu's face. Her movements were slow and gentle. Chin Chu raised his head and carefully looked at Huamin's face, as if he couldn't get enough of it. He told GK that he was out of town and hid the fact that he was hospitalized. Assistant Yang sent an endless stream of emails to his phone. Mian, yeah, why don't the two of us leave this place and start over somewhere where no one knows us? Upon hearing this, Huamin's hand, which was holding the towel, froze slightly. Chapter 4:24. How can I do that? If you leave, you'll no longer be the president of GK. If you're not the president anymore, who would still like you? Huamin joked. Mian, I'm serious. Please think about it. Chin Chu had actually thought about a lot of things. In the short term, it didn't seem possible for his parents to accept Huamin, for Huamin to forgive his parents, for Yang Meirong to forgive him, or for him to resolve the grudge between the two families. Chin Chu thought that it would be better to take Huamin and leave. After a while, perhaps everything would fade away. Huamin still had his little brother and his mother. As long as they left enough money, they would be able to live a good life. As for his parents, he didn't have to worry about them. They had a chauffeur and a nanny at home. I don't want to leave. Huamin hesitated for a moment and said slowly. Then she continued, I've lived here for more than 20 years. Here I have my mother, my brother, Lingling, my job, and many of my close colleagues. I'm not young anymore. I'm not interested in anything new, so I don't want to live in a strange place. Let's just leave it at that. I know what you're worried about, but I believe that there will be a way. Right now, we just have to take one step at a time. Plus, after Uncle Jing passed away, it's already very difficult for my mother to raise my brother and me alone. I don't want to leave her and Jixin behind. That way, no matter how good my life is, I'll still feel uneasy. I didn't think it through, you're right. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Chin Chu nodded. Men and women always thought differently, and this had nothing to do with their nature. It was a matter of gender. For example, if a daughter gave her mother flowers or presents on her birthday, a boy might not even want to say happy birthday, but that didn't mean that he wasn't filial. It was just that boys were more careless and didn't care as much as girls, so they didn't think as much. No matter how smart and thoughtful Chin Chu was, he was still a man. He couldn't empathize with Huamin's subtle thoughts. After hearing what Huamin said, he was enlightened. Don't go to the company for the next few days. Stay here and don't leave the hospital, Huamin ordered. I got it, honey. Close your eyes and have a good sleep. It will help you recover your strength. Can you come up and lie beside me? Otherwise, I can't sleep. Mr. Chin, you're so pretentious. Huamin chuckled. I can't help it. I've been sleeping with you for the past few months. If you're not home, I'll lose sleep, Chin Chu said pitifully. Huamin had no choice. He washed his hands, took off his jacket, and carefully lay beside Chin Chu's bed. Fortunately, the bed in the VIP ward was big enough, so it wasn't too crowded for the two of them. Chin Chu hugged Huamin's waist with one hand and smelled her unique fragrance. At this moment, he felt inexplicably at ease. He slowly closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. Huamin looked closely at Qin Shu's side profile. His face was so beautiful even when he was sleeping. In the end, she couldn't resist and secretly kissed the tip of his nose. Don't seduce me at a time like this. I won't be able to control myself, Qin Shu suddenly said, scaring Huamin. Aren't you asleep? With my arms around you, how could I sleep? Qin Shu opened his eyes and looked at Huamin flirtatiously. Huamian immediately understood what he meant and blushed. Please, you're recuperating right now. Don't think about those things, okay? Huamin was speechless. Chapter 425. Can I do it? Can I even think about it? Qin Shu looked at Huamin with puppy eyes. Huamin's heart almost melted from his gaze. Luckily, she had strong willpower. Close your eyes and go to sleep, or else I'm leaving. Sure enough, as soon as he finished speaking, Qin Shu obediently closed his eyes. In the morning, Huamin got up to buy breakfast for Qin Shu. As soon as he walked out of the door, he saw his assistant, Yang, holding a pile of documents at the door. Good morning. Seeing the CEO's woman, Xiao Yang immediately greeted her. Good morning. Huamin nodded. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly turned around and shouted, Hey, wait a second. MHM? Yang turned around. Are those documents for Qin Shu? MHM, yes. These are all documents that the company needs to deal with urgently. But he's very weak right now. Why don't you cut down some of these documents and pick the less important ones? Huamin felt bad for Qin Shu. He didn't want him to deal with so much work in the morning as if he was reviewing memorials. But Yang looked at the mountainous pile of documents with a troubled expression. To be honest, these were all rather urgent. He didn't know which ones were the most important. Miss Hua's request was really difficult for him. Before he could say anything, Huamin walked over and took away half of the documents in his hands. I'll keep these for now. I'll show them to him tomorrow. You can send them in first. Yang was completely confused. He thought that Miss Hua was being too stubborn. It's fine. If your president blames me, I'll take responsibility. Oh, okay. Yang could only nod to Huamin's words. Then, Huamin locked the documents in a safe in the hospital and went out to buy breakfast for Qin Shu. Is this all the documents I have today? Qin Shu was lying on the hospital bed. He was on a 4-drip while reading the company documents. Yang said vaguely. What's going on? Qin Shu asked Assistant Yang, sensing that something was wrong. Miss Hua, she took half of it. She said too much and didn't want to tire you out. Assistant Yang gritted his teeth and decided to side with the president and betray Huamin. Mian took it. Qin Shu froze for a second, then the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Although he didn't see it with his own eyes, he could imagine how domineering Huamin was when he snatched the information away. Miss Hua, of course she cares about you. After all, she's your girlfriend, Assistant Yang said with a smile. Qin Shu frowned slightly. What girlfriend? She's my wife. Wife? Gah! Assistant Yang was completely stunned. Legal husband and wife, do you understand? Watch your words in the future. What Miss Hua? She's a young lady. Little Yang, early in the morning, the president announced the news to him without warning, so he didn't have time to digest the box of chais he ate in the morning. Sir, when did you get married? Why didn't you notice at all? Assistant Yang looked at Qin Shu, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Luckily, he was smart enough to never offend Miss Hua. Otherwise, the president's wife would kill him. She could fire him at any time. We've been married for more than 4 months. Qin Shu said slowly. More than 4 months? Let me see. Didn't you just come back not long ago? What's wrong? Qin Shu asked with a dark expression. Sir, you're so good at hiding your marriage, haha. Assistant Yang flattered. When Huamin came back, Qin Shu was still working. She put down the breakfast in her hands. Then, she took the breakfast upstairs to her mother's room. At the door, she handed Jixin a set of breakfast. Is Mom awake? Huamin asked anxiously. Yeah, she's awake. Go in, it's okay. Jixin patted the back of his sister's hand encouragingly. Huamin took a deep breath and pushed the door open with the breakfast. Mom, you're awake. Young Meiyurong glanced at Huamin. She didn't say anything, but her gaze was bone-chilling. Chapter 426. Mom, I know you're angry with me. You can yell at me or hit me if you want, as long as you don't get too angry. What a joke. What's the point of yelling at you and hitting you? Is there anything I can do to stop you from being with that brat from the Qin family? I've warned you again and again, but you've ignored me. Huamin, I've raised you for more than 20 years. Did I raise you into an enemy? For the first time, Yang Meiyurong didn't yell at Huamin, but every word she said was harsh. No, Mom. Between me and Qin Shu, I don't want to hear about your relationship. You're all grown up, and I can't control you. I just think that your Uncle Jing died in vain. How could you be with the person who killed him? What a joke. Yang Meiyurong tilted her head and said coldly, refusing to look at Huamin. Mom, Uncle Jing's death has nothing to do with Qin Shu. We can't blame him for it. That's not fair. Then someone from my family died. Who can give me a fair explanation? Yang Meiyurong raised her voice and roared. Mom, calm down. The dead can't be brought back to life? What? Are you trying to persuade me to accept the Qin family now? Let me tell you, Huamin, you're dreaming. I'll never have a daughter like you. Whether you live or die, whether you marry into a rich family or live on the streets, it has nothing to do with me. I just regret that I didn't listen to you and get an abortion. I gave birth to a scourge like you. Judging from Yang Meirong's tone, she didn't doubt that Huamian was her biological daughter at all. But, Mom, which hospital were you in when you gave birth to me? Huamin suddenly asked. Does it have anything to do with that? No, the hospital is doing a survey, so I want to know where you were born. Yang Meiyurong didn't say anything. Huamin didn't dare to continue asking. He carefully took out the porridge and placed it on the table. Then, he carefully peeled the egg. At that time, I ran to Dongtao Town to avoid the media and reporters. I gave birth to you at the town's clinic. Dongtao Town. Huamin remembered this town. It was less than 100 miles away from Sea City. It was a small town with a small population. She didn't understand why her mother wanted to go there. Yes, because Dongtao Town is your Uncle Jing's hometown and he has many relatives there. Moreover, he knows everyone in the medical center. So he went there. Yang Meiyurong said slowly as she recalled the scene when she gave birth to Huamin. Huamin thought for a moment and asked, Then, when you gave birth to me, did any other pregnant women give birth to babies? I'm not sure, because I had a difficult labor. I was exhausted and barely conscious, so I didn't know what was going on at the hospital. However, after you were born, we immediately left. Your Uncle Jing said that the environment there wasn't good, so he told me to go home and recuperate. Uncle Jing asked you and me to leave the hospital immediately. Oh, I see. Do you still remember the doctor who helped you deliver the baby? Yes, she's a doctor with the surname Wan. She's a woman in her 40s, probably in her 60s now. She's quite famous in the area. She delivered me. And your Uncle Jing even gave her a red packet of 20 yuan. 20 years ago, 20 yuan was still quite a lot. Huamian lowered her head as she thought about it in silence. What's wrong? Did something happen over there? Yang Meiyurong felt that Huamin was acting a little strange today. Oh, nothing, I was just asking. All right, did Uncle Jing mention that incident to you? For example, did anything special happen? Huamin thought that if there was something wrong with his birth, then there was only one person who would know, and that was Uncle Jing. However, he was no longer alive, so there was no way to verify it. That's not true. He never mentioned it, and I never asked about it. Upon hearing his mother's words, Huamin was slightly disappointed that Uncle Jing didn't say anything. Mom, eat something. Huamin handed her an egg. I just want to ask you one thing. Are you never going to leave that brat from the Qin family? Yang Meiyurong didn't reach out to take the egg. Instead, she glared angrily at Huamin. Chapter 427. Mom, Qin Shu and I are already married. What did you say? Yang Meirong's eyes widened as she asked, enunciating each word clearly. Huamin felt like he couldn't hide this any longer. Since a lot of people already knew, he might as well tell his mother the truth as soon as possible. Otherwise, if Qin Shu's mother went crazy and caused trouble again, wouldn't his mother be hurt again? We're already married. We got our marriage certificate 4 months ago. Crack! A slap came flying at Huomin. Huomin's reflexes were extremely fast. She could have dodged it. But she didn't. She took her mother's slap just like that. Perhaps his mother was too angry, so she used a lot of force. The slap made Huomin's ears ring. You bitch. I really should have killed you. Yang Meirong was furious at Huomin's incompetence. She didn't feel any relief from the slap, so she continued to slap him. Huomin had no intention of dodging, and he continued to wait for the slap to fall. Just then, Jixin pushed open the door and grabbed his mother's hand. Mom, what are you doing? Why did you hit my sister? Ask her what she did. Yang Meirong angrily pointed at Huomin and asked. Jing Jixin looked at his sister, his eyes slightly distressed. I already told Mom about my marriage to Qin Shu. Jing Jixin obviously wasn't surprised at all. He took his mother's hand, sat down on the bed, and slowly said, Mom, I already knew about this. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to scold my sister. What? You already knew? Yes. Great. You two are both rebelling, aren't you? I worked so hard to raise you two. And this is how you repay me? I really have a hard life. I don't want to live anymore. If only Otto was still alive. He should see what kind of stupid things the son and daughter he was so proud of have done. Yang Meirong said as she cried, Mom, let me say something. All these years after my dad passed away, you've had a hard time raising us. You've had to run a small supermarket and live a tight life. But my sister has also had a hard time. 7 years ago, she gave up the opportunity to go abroad and study at the best medical school in Jing City. She chose to stay here and study at a third-rate medical school. Wasn't it all because that school waived all her tuition fees and gave her a scholarship? She wanted to reduce the burden on our family, so she worked part-time to pay for my education. The living expenses you give me every month are actually not enough. Every time I say that I'm saving money, it's actually my sister who's secretly helping me. Even now, she still takes out her salary every month to give you and me a little. She's already 24 years old this year, but she never thinks about herself. Isn't she just trying to make up for what she did all those years ago? My dad's been dead for so long. Don't bring it up and make things difficult for us. Over the years, you've worked hard. My sister has worked hard, and I've seen the two of you work even harder. We've all worked hard. It's not easy for a family to be together, and we don't have many opportunities to spend time together. Why do you have to make things like this? It's fate that brought her into this family. Why do you have to make it seem like you hate her so much? You can't morally blackmail her, Mom. Even I know that she's only liked Qin Shu all these years. Why do you have to make things difficult for her? Do you only feel good when she's unhappy? After Yang Meirong heard what Jing Jixin said, she was shocked and didn't say anything for a long time. He seemed to have touched something deep in her heart. 7 years ago, my sister was only 17 years old, and she had to shoulder so many things. She gave up her bright future to take care of this family with you. She's already done a great job. Everyone makes mistakes, not to mention that it was Big Bro Qin Shu's family that did it. Why should they shoulder it? Chapter 428. Stop it, that's enough. Yang Meirong couldn't take it anymore and yelled angrily. No, I have to say it. If I don't, you'll always think that my sister owes us 8 million yuan. Every time something happens, you use my dad's death to provoke her. Anyways, I support my sister's happiness. As for the grudge between the two families, that's between you and your grandmother. I don't care how you deal with it, but don't put my sister and Qin Shu in a pinch. You're just a kid. What do you know? I'm not a kid. I'm 19. I know everything. Anyways, Mom, don't treat my sister like that. Otherwise, I'll go south after graduation and never come back. This family will be over. Then, Jing Jixin sighed, his face full of melancholy. Yang Meirong didn't expect her son to be so protective of his sister. She was so angry that she couldn't say anything. Jixin, Huomin's eyes were full of emotions. Sis, your ear is bleeding. Jing Jixin walked over with heartache. He looked at Huamin's injured cheek and asked, "I'm fine." Huamin wiped his cheek with his hand and found traces of blood. "No, let's go. We have to find a doctor and get it bandaged." Before Huamin could say anything, Jing Jixin grabbed his sister's hand and dragged her away. Before he left, he didn't forget to say to his mother, "Mom, think about what I just said. Also, don't hit my sister again, or I won't love you anymore." Yang Meiyerong was speechless. Jing Jixin was a very obedient boy. He matured earlier than other boys and had a calmer heart. He rarely said things that hurt his family, and his heart was extremely pure. He knew how to be grateful for Hua Min's love and care. He didn't want to squander it too much. He would save some of the money that Hua Min gave him, and when his sister got married, he would give it to her as a congratulatory gift. Yang Meiyerong felt bad for hitting Hua Min. However, she was still angry at the fact that Hua Min was married to that kid from the Qin family. Walking out of the room, Jing Jixin angrily looked at Hua Min. "Sis, are you stupid? What's wrong?" Hua Min was puzzled. "Don't you know how to dodge when your mom hits you? You're just standing there like a block of wood. Won't she be even angrier if I run away? Why don't you just let her hit you to vent her anger? You're really stubborn. You have to learn that a wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. You still don't know Mom's temper. Although her temper is bad and her mouth is not good, her heart is not that hard. You have to learn to show weakness and let Mom feel sorry for you. You're smart." Hua Min smiled and pinched Jixin's nose. "Obstetric infirmary, senior sister. You have to be careful when you wash your face these few days. Don't let it get wet. Your eardrums are a little damaged." Huang Yi used a searchlight and small tweezers to carefully disinfect Hua Min's face. "Yes." "Jixin, don't you have classes for the next few days? Why don't you go back to school? I could take a few days off to help my senior sister take care of your mom." Huang Yu glanced at Jing Jixin, who was standing beside her. "It's okay. There aren't many classes at school. With me here, my sister can relax a little. All right, let's add each other on WeChat. I see that my senior sister always reposts funny things from your WeChat moments. Haha, send me more in the future." Then, Huang Yu took out her phone. "Sure, give me your QR code. I'll scan it." Jing Jixin obviously didn't think much of it. Hua Min covered his slightly painful ear and looked at Huang Yu with a complicated expression. However, she didn't say anything. After the bandage was done, Hua Min received a call from Zhu Lingling, saying that she and Gao Ran were visiting Qin Chu in his room. Hua Min had no choice but to go downstairs and enter the room. Before he could say anything, he heard Qin Chu ask worriedly, "Mian, what happened to your face?" Hua Min touched his slightly swollen face and licked his lips. Chapter 429. "Someone hit you. What happened to you?" "Oh my God, who would have the guts to hit you?" Zhu Lingling put down her handbag, walked over, and touched Hua Min's face, making a big fuss out of nothing. "Come here." Qin Chu waved his hand at Hua Min. Hua Min slowly walked over. Qin Chu took her hand and sat on the edge of the bed. Then, he reached out his warm hand and gently touched the bruise on her cheek. He knew that her mother must have hit her. There was no need to ask, it was definitely because of him. Qin Chu's heart ached. It was better for him to get hurt than for Hua Min to get hurt. Otherwise, the pain in his heart would be even more devastating. "Hey, okay, stop if you're sick. Don't torture us single people. We're here to visit you, not to see you guys being lovey-dovey," Gao Ran joked. When he saw Qin Chu in the morning, he knew that Hua Min had made a choice when he saw how much better Qin Chu looked. Luckily, this woman wasn't completely heartless and didn't completely ignore how well Qin Chu treated her. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran chatted for a long time before they put down the flowers and fruits. The two of them were about to leave. "Aren't you guys going to stay for dinner?" Hua Min asked with a smile. "No, the food in the hospital cafeteria is horrible. We can order takeout." "No, the room smells like formalin. I'm not in the mood." "Forget it. I'll go find some street food and eat some hot and sour noodles." As she spoke, Zhu Lingling walked out. Gao Ren quietly followed behind. "I haven't had hot and sour noodles in a while. I'll grab a bowl on the way." You don't want hot and sour noodles. You want to eat Zhu Lingling, right? Huamin asked half-jokingly. Gao Ran suddenly felt a little embarrassed. Zhu Lingling was so angry that she secretly pinched Huamin's shoulder. What nonsense are you talking about? I realize that you're almost as good as the paparazzi. You're really good at spreading rumors. I'm joking. Why are you so nervous? Could it be that you too? There's nothing between the two of us. We're pure and innocent, whiter than tofu, Zhu Lingling immediately explained. Gao Ran didn't say anything. In the end, he followed Zhu Lingling silently. You know how awkward they are, yet you still tease them. Aren't you afraid that they will explode? Qin Chu smiled. Don't worry. Gao Ran is a little shy, so he won't explode. As for Lingling, I've known her since she was a child, and she's never exploded at me. It's possible that she'll explode at someone else. Huamin closed the door, walked in, and poured a cup of warm water for Qin Chu. Drink some water. The house is a bit dry. Me on your face? Qin Chu didn't ask directly because there were other people in the house. Now that Gao Ran and the others were gone, he looked at Huamin's slightly swollen cheek with heartache. He felt terrible. Oh, it's nothing. My mom slapped me. Huamin smiled. She didn't even dare to tell Qin Chu that her eardrum was injured. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to eat or sleep well. How would he be thinking about this? Next time, tell your mom to hit me. Don't touch my wife. It's fine. It doesn't hurt. I'm not that unreasonable. Compared to Qin Chu's 7-year promise, Huamin felt that his mother's slap was nothing. It was just a flesh wound. Fortunately, Jixin stepped up and helped her out in time. Although she wasn't sure if his words were effective on his mother, Huamian still cared about Jixin. She could tell that Jixin was trying his best to protect his sister, even at the expense of falling out with his mother. It seemed like she didn't dote on her brother for nothing after all these years. However, junior sister Huang Yu seemed to like Jixin. Huamin wasn't sure, but she didn't dare to say. She felt like he was being too nice to her. Maybe she was just overthinking things. Honey, yeah? Qin Chu slowly drank his water and listened to Huamin talk to him. I feel like my background is a bit strange. I don't think I'm Hua Zhenghai's daughter, nor am I my mom's daughter. Yeah. Qin Chu put down his cup and was slightly surprised. Chapter 430. Huamin never told anyone about her parentage, not even Jixin or Lingling. However, at this moment, she was confessing to Qin Chu, which showed how important Qin Chu was to her. Then, Huamin told him everything. After hearing this, Qin Chu was silent for a long time. Are you sure that Hua Zhenghai's blood type and your mother's blood type are both correct? I'm sure. It's all recorded in the hospital's medical records. Then, it seems like they really didn't give birth to you, and you're not Uncle Jing's child. Otherwise, could it be that your mother had other lovers that she never told you about? Huamin shook her head. Although I never asked her, I don't think so. When I was born, my mother was desperately in love with Hua Zhenghai, so she was pregnant with me. From her tone, she didn't know that I wasn't her daughter. After I was born, Hua Zhenghai didn't recognize me, so Uncle Jing had the opportunity to be with my mother. Then, she gave birth to Jixin, so the timeline was very tight. In other words, other than Hua Zhenghai, there was only Uncle Jing, his driver. There was no time for another man, so it doesn't make sense that my mother had other men. Qin Chu nodded. If that's the case, then there's only one possibility. Something must have gone wrong with the hospital where you were born. Yeah, that's what I thought too. When I have time, I plan to look into that hospital and the doctor who delivered my mother. Maybe there were too many babies when I was born, so there was a mistake or something. That's possible. So, you might have biological parents in this world who are actually related to you. Huamin nodded. She actually thought that it was quite magical. She used to think that she was the illegitimate daughter of the Hua family. Who would have thought that the plot would turn around and she would know whose child she was? What happened at the hospital in Dongtao Town? Did her parents look for her all these years? Or rather, they didn't even know that she existed. Huamin had a strange feeling when she thought that her biological parents might be living near Dongtao Town. That kind of feeling was hard to describe. In any case, it was mystical. It seemed to be an inexplicable bond. It was like knowing that in a certain corner of the world, there was someone living with the same blood as you, but you didn't know who that person was. Huamin leaned against Qin Shu's chest and asked slowly, "If I find my birth parents, they are farmers, the most honest farmers. Will you mind?" "What about you? Would you mind?" Qin Shu asked. "No, even if they're just picking up trash, I won't mind." "Then if you don't mind, why would I mind? But have you ever thought about it? If your biological parents were important figures of noble status, would you accept it?" "I don't think so. In a small place like Dongtao Town, it's impossible," Huamin denied with a smile. "It's hard to say. After all, God always arranges for the most miraculous encounters and fate, just like you and me." Huamin sighed slightly. Qin Shu was right. If the accident at the hospital didn't happen, she wouldn't have followed young Mei Yurong to Sea City, and she wouldn't have gone to second high school. How would she have met the man she loved the most in her life? Deep in love, Huamin suddenly had an idea. As soon as the idea popped up, even she was shocked. She rested her head on Qin Shu's arm and quietly said, "Honey, let's have a child, okay?" "What did you say?" Qin Shu thought that he was hallucinating, so he asked uncertainly. Chapter 431. It's fine if you can't hear me. I won't say it twice. Huamin purposely buried her head under Qin Shu's armpit. "Honey, say it one more time. Please, say it one more time." Qin Shu couldn't suppress his excitement. He pulled Huamin out his arms and held her pretty face in his hands. He was almost begging her. "I said, let's have a child. I don't know where I came from, and I don't want our child to be like that. I want our child to know who her father is and who her mother is. I want to give her all of our love. Honey, that's the most touching thing you've said in all the years I've known you." Qin Shu was extremely excited as he tightly hugged Huamin's waist. So it's time for us to get down to business," Qin Shu said meaningfully. "What business?" Huamin didn't know how to react. Qin Shu nimbly slid his hand under her collar. "What are you doing?" Huamin's body trembled. "Honey, I'm not feeling well right now. Why don't you do it on top?" "Get lost." Huamin didn't think that Qin Shu would think something so dirty when he was being so serious. "I'm being serious. Stop messing around." "I'm not messing around. I'm just playing along with you. Don't you want a child? Then shouldn't we have sex more often?" Qin Shu looked innocent. Huamin, just as the two were flirting with each other, someone knocked on the door. Qin Shu's face darkened. It couldn't be the doctor checking on him. He told them that the doctor could only come in before dinner every day, so they didn't need to disturb him. "Come in." "Sir, there's an urgent document from the company that needs your signature. Haha." Yang walked in timidly. Huamin immediately stood up with a red face and adjusted his collar. How could he ruin such an intimate scene? Little Yang felt like he was going to be in trouble. "Hello, a young lady." Seeing Huamin pass by, Yang immediately flattered her with a smile. "I'll go to the bathroom first. You guys talk." Huamin left awkwardly. After Huamin left, Qin Shu took the document from Xiao Yang with a dark face. He looked at it and signed it. "I'll deduct all of your bonus for this month," Qin Shu suddenly said. Yang immediately cried, "Boss, please don't. I didn't do it on purpose. You did it on purpose. I'm not. In all honesty, how would I know that you guys would do this kind of thing in broad daylight?" Before Yang could finish his sentence, he realized that he had misspoken again. "What do you mean by doing such a thing in broad daylight?" Qin Shu continued with a dark expression. "Next month's salary will be deducted as well." The corner of Assistant Yang's mouth twitched, and he almost started foaming at the mouth. Being an assistant really wasn't easy. No one was more torturous than being the assistant to GK's president. When Yang walked out the door, he saw Huamin come back. "A young lady?" "Yeah." Huamin nodded. "A young lady, please save me. I'm here to repay you." "A young lady, please put in a good word for me in front of the president." "What's going on?" Huamin was confused. After hearing what Yang said, Huamin only smiled slightly. "Don't worry. He's just trying to scare you. He won't do it." "What if it's true?" "If it's true, I'll give you a bonus out of my own pocket." "Don't worry." "A young lady, you're a living Buddha." Yang was extremely excited. Okay, go back to the company. Huamin sent Yang away. Just as he was about to enter his room, he heard someone call his name. President Wu. Huamin was surprised to see who it was. Chapter 432. I heard that Dr. Qin is hospitalized here, so I came to visit. President Wu was wearing a white lab coat, and his wooden male assistant followed behind him. Please come in. Huamin had a feeling that President Wu knew about her relationship with Qin Shu, even though he never mentioned it. When President Wu went in to visit Qin Shu, Huamin felt that it wasn't convenient for him, so he took the time to go upstairs and visit his mother. He had been crazy busy recently. Luckily, there were people at Southside, or else he wouldn't have been able to take so many days off. After eating with Jixin upstairs, Huamin went to the OB/GYN to find Huang Yu and the others. However, he ran into Wu Xiaoxue, whom he hadn't seen in a few days. She was very happy to see Huamin. Huamin, why are you here? Aren't you on vacation? Huamin remembered that Wu Xiaoxue was on vacation because she wasn't feeling well. I went to Jing City and came back. The baby is fine. The doctor said that the flesh on the head can be absorbed and won't affect the baby. That's great. You can rest assured now. Okay, let's go. I'll treat you to dinner. After speaking, Wu Xiaoxue pulled Huamin and walked out. Hey, don't, I just finished eating. My mother is upstairs in the hospital, and my brother and I just ate some cold noodles. I'm not hungry at all. I see. It's rare to see you. I wanted to treat you to dinner. You don't have to be so polite. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Huamin was very happy about Wu Xiaoxue's change in attitude. Although she had a bad temper, at least she had a good heart and didn't have the guts to hurt others. She was different from He-Man. I'm going to do an ultrasound. Talk to you later. After saying goodbye to Huamin, Wu Xiaoxue left. Huang Yu looked at Huamin in disbelief. Mian, what's going on? Is Wu Xiaoxue possessed by a ghost? Ever since I saved her last time, she doesn't hate me as much anymore. At least she has a conscience. This woman, but she's really unlucky. She's just gotten married, and she's already like this. Ning Ziyuan is really a scumbag. You're right to break up with him. Huamin smiled. He did not ask further, nor did he comment. Senior sister, do you know that Ning Ziyuan and He-Man are together again? Wu Xiaoxue probably doesn't know about it. Otherwise, she would have already stomped her feet. I heard it from a nurse in another department. That woman has a pretty good relationship with He-Man. She often sees Ning Ziyuan's car outside He-Manjia's building. Io, so disgusting. Ning Ziyuan, this scumbag, is having an affair after marriage. If the Wu family knew about it, let's see if he can still stay in the hospital. Huang Yu rattled off a bunch of things, but Huamin wasn't very interested. She no longer had any feelings towards Ning Ziyuan. Qin Shu stayed in the hospital for 5 whole days. He was supposed to stay for 2 more days, but he was too busy. In the end, he had no choice but to leave the hospital early. Huamin also returned to work at Southside. After his mother was discharged, she went straight home to recuperate. Huamin would occasionally drive home to buy groceries. However, her attitude was still cold, but Huamin was already satisfied. He thought that with his mother's personality, she would have cut off all ties with him. Jixin's words the other day probably had a lot of effect. At noon, Huamin went back to his office after lunch. He took out his phone and casually browsed through his WeChat moments. He saw that Jixin had just posted a status. He wrote, "Time used to be slow. Cars, horses, and emails all used to be slow. You had to wait a few days for a greeting. Love used to be slow as well. You had to wait a lifetime for someone, and you only had enough time to love one person." Below was a picture of a misty rain in Jiangnan. It was extremely artistic. Actually, this wasn't a big deal, but the strange thing was that Jixin wouldn't easily post something related to love. Most of his posts were chicken soup for the soul. They were either inspirational or funny. He would even get angry when he encountered something unfair, but he would never moan about love for no reason. Before Huamin could think about it, he saw Huang Yu like the post. Then she instantly deleted it. Liking the post wasn't a big deal, but deleting it after liking it was a bit strange. After thinking about it, Huamin sent a WeChat message to Jixin. "How far have you and Huang Yu progressed?" Chapter 433. Nothing special. We're just normal friends. Sis, why are you suddenly asking this? Huomin wasn't satisfied with Jixin's reply. She felt like Jixin wasn't telling the truth. She had seen how passionate Huang Yu was towards Jixin. Huang Yu was 21 and Jixin was 19. They weren't that far apart in age, but one was still a student and the other had already entered society. This was a difficult thing to do. Plus, Huomin didn't want Jixin to fall in love too early. He was a man, and he had to have a stable income before he could fall in love, right? Nothing. I just wanted to say, you haven't graduated yet, and your future is uncertain. If you get into a relationship too early, it'll be unstable, and it'll only add to your sadness. Sis, I understand what you mean. Good. After persuading Jixin, Huomin didn't say anything else. After all, Jixin had his own judgment. Plus, if Jixin really liked Huang Yu, she probably wouldn't be able to persuade him otherwise. Huang Yu is a nice, passionate, and innocent girl. However, Huomin didn't think that two innocent people would be suitable for this realistic society. After all, love wasn't about living in a fairy tale world forever. Reality was cruel. GK's office of the president. Qin Shu hadn't returned to the old manor for many days, nor did he call his mother. Most of the time, when his mother called, he wouldn't pick up because he knew what she was going to say. Lady Qin had no choice but to ask the driver to drive her to GK headquarters. Sir, the president's wife is here, Yang reported. Got it, Qin Shu replied as he reviewed the documents in his hands. Chu, why didn't you pick up my call? As soon as she walked in, she began to interrogate her son. I was busy. That's impossible. That little vixen must be bothering you and not letting you pick up my call, right? Qin Shu helplessly raised his head and looked at his mother. Mom, don't blame everything on Huomin. She's not bothering me. I've been bothering her. You useless fellow. You still have the nerve to say that? Son, you're so eligible. What kind of woman can't we find? I want Huomin. Qin Shu's tone was firm. I don't agree. Lady Qin's attitude was also firm. I don't need your permission. You? Lady Qin was so angry that her face turned pale. Chu, I've already found a lawyer. We'll file for divorce in a while. Okay? Yes. Mother will definitely choose a woman who is 100 times better than her and 1,000 times prettier than her. Divorce is impossible. Mom, don't interfere in my affairs, or you'll never see me again. I'll take her away from here and emigrate abroad. Are you threatening me? Lady Qin stared at her son with wide eyes. All these years, no matter how overboard she was, her son was not willing to say anything overboard to her. After all, she was his biological mother. But Qin Shu was very angry at his mother for treating Huomin and Huomin's family this time. If you think so, then so be it. Also, you'd better accept me on, because you're going to have a grandchild soon. What? Lady Qin felt blood rush to her head and almost fainted. That woman wants to use her son's status to increase. She wants to give birth to another child so that she can share the Qin family's assets. There's no need to share. I'll give her everything I have, Qin Shu replied in all seriousness. Oh my God, you're crazy, completely crazy. What kind of curse did that woman cast on you? Why are you so crazy? Mom, I'm very clear-headed. You're too extreme. Chu, don't force Mom or else. I'll make that woman disappear from this world. Do you believe me? Lady Qin was furious and went straight to the point. Qin Shu's expression changed slightly upon hearing this. Chapter 434. Mom, if you're so determined, then I'm telling you, if something happens to Huomin, I'll disappear with him. You'll lose me forever. Lady Qin didn't expect her son to be so deeply poisoned. Qin Shu, do you know what you're saying? Lady Qin was hysterical. Very clearly, you actually want to die for a woman. Yes, if you don't believe me, you can try. Oh my God, the son I raised for more than 20 years is saying that he wants to die for a woman. Lady Qin suddenly felt like the sky was falling down on her. Don't give Huomin a hard time. I'll never be separated from him. Mom, This is the last time I'm giving you this advice. After speaking, Qin Chu pressed the intercom. Assistant Yang pushed open the door and walked in. Sir, what are your orders? Send Mrs. President out. Yes. Also, her health isn't very good. Don't let her come to the office anymore. It's too stressful. Yes. Assistant Yang could tell that the president had ordered his mother to be blacklisted. Although he was surprised, he still obediently nodded. Lady Qin's expression couldn't even be described as ugly. When she walked out of the company, she happened to see Jiang Linwei. The truth was, they didn't run into each other every time. But every time Jiang Linwei heard that Mrs. President was coming, she would create a chance encounter. She wanted to create more opportunities for them to interact. Since she couldn't do it through the president, she could only do it through his mother. Madam, when did you get here? Have you eaten yet? Jiang Linwei asked hypocritically. Lady Qin was in a fit of anger, and when she saw Jiang Linwei, she became even angrier. You useless woman, I thought you had some skills, but who would have thought? You're also a good-for-nothing. Madam, Jiang Linwei froze at the scolding, not knowing what she did wrong. Do you know about my son and that woman? You're just hiding it from me, right? No, I didn't. Jiang Linwei immediately denied it. She was afraid that she would leave a bad impression on Mrs. President. Then you don't even know about their marriage? Lady Qin asked coldly. What? Jiang Linwei was completely dumbfounded. I didn't know you were so useless. You're not as well informed as I am. I really misjudged you. After speaking, Lady Qin ignored Jiang Linwei and walked out. She originally thought that Jiang Linwei was quite smart and should be properly trained, but she didn't expect her to be nothing more than a decorative vase. He didn't have any abilities at all, so she didn't know a lot of information. When Jiang Linwei heard that Qin Chu was married to that woman, she felt terrible. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning, and his heart was unable to calm down for a long time. With Qin Chu's status, he wouldn't easily get married. Once he did, it would only prove that the woman was very important to him. Jiang Linwei suddenly felt like all her years of hard work had gone down the drain. Lady Qin couldn't harass her son. She was angry and didn't go home directly. Instead, she went to Southside Recuperation Center. Huamin was about to get off work when she saw Lady Qin standing in front of her office door as she came out of the changing room. She was going to walk right past her and not talk to her. Stop right there. Lady Qin yelled angrily. Are you talking to me? Who else could it be? You uneducated brat. You sure have guts. Lady Qin looked at Huamin and said through gritted teeth, Sorry, I'm not an uneducated brat. If you're talking to me, then please call me Lady Qin. After all, Qin Chu and I are legally married. Huamin smiled slightly. Lady Qin's expression changed drastically when she heard this. It was indescribably ugly. Chapter 435. What? If you're Lady Qin, then what am I? You're also Lady Qin, but you're Mrs. Qin's wife. Lady Qin's face turned green with anger when she emphasized the word old. You're indeed an uneducated piece of shit. All you can say is such despicable things. Huamin retorted coldly. An educated person wouldn't say the words uneducated all the time. It's obvious who's the uneducated one here. What do you mean by that? I mean it literally. I'm going to rip your mouth apart. Lady Qin was still very fierce. She lunged at Huamin, but Huamin dodged her. Then, the bodyguard behind her stepped forward again. Don't you dare touch me. I'm Qin Chu's wife, Huamin said coldly. Of course, the bodyguard knew who Qin Chu was, so he didn't dare to act rashly when it came to family disputes. Don't be afraid of her. Beat her up, Lady Qin ordered. The tall and strong bodyguard walked towards Huamin. Huamin stepped back. She knew that this bodyguard was the big, dumb guy who pushed her mother down last time. He was Lady Qin's dog. If she told him to go east, he wouldn't dare to go west. Just as the bodyguard was about to reach her, Huamin suddenly lifted her foot and kicked the bodyguard's groin. Perhaps he wasn't prepared, but Huamin was fast. She hit him right on the head. The big, dumb bodyguard covered his groin in pain. This kick is revenge for my mother. If I see you bullying the elderly again, I'll cripple you. After speaking, Huamin clapped her hands and walked away. She completely ignored Lady Qin's farce. Huamin now not only felt that Qin Shu's mother was hateful, but he also felt that she was a mentally ill old lady. Although the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law were natural enemies, after all, they both liked the same man. It was inevitable that they would be jealous. But it wasn't as perverted as this when they arrived home. Qin Shu had already prepared dinner. It was black pepper beef spaghetti, Huamin's favorite flavor. There was also fruit salad, French fries, and champagne. Did you do it all by yourself? Yes, I made this salad dressing myself, because I always feel that the ones sold in the supermarket are not authentic enough. Try it. Qin Shu smiled as he took the bag from Huamin's hands. He thoughtfully took off her slippers and placed them on the ground. Honey, thank you for your hard work. Not at all. After all, my wife is preparing for pregnancy. Huamin was speechless. Well, she really regretted telling Qin Shu about having children. This guy had been talking about it every day. After changing into loungewear upstairs, the two of them sat across from each other at the dining table. Your mom went to Southside to look for me today? Huamin asked calmly. Did she cause trouble again? Yes, but she didn't succeed. She was pissed off by me. Not many people can take advantage of you. Qin Shu chuckled. That's right. That stupid bodyguard even gave me a kick. That's revenge for my mother. Next time, let me deal with a man. It's okay. I can handle it myself, Huamin said as he took a sip of champagne. Wow, this is delicious. What brand is it? You probably haven't heard of it. It's not a big brand. It's one of my favorite flavors. So, Mr. Qin, you brought me spaghetti, salad, and champagne. Do you have a favor to ask of me? One who is unaccountably solicitous must be hiding evil intentions, Huamin asked with a smile. If I have to say what I want, then I want to eat so I can have a baby. Ahem, ahem, hem. Huamian was speechless upon hearing him say it out loud. Qin Shu, you're so perverted. Didn't you bring this up first? Honey, Qin Shu said innocently. Chapter 436. You're not going to let go of this topic, right? It's like this before the baby is born. Huamin was speechless. Fine, you win. She really didn't know what to say in the face of Qin Shu's shamelessness and cuteness. After dinner, Qin Shu washed the dishes as usual. Huamin felt like she really didn't have the talent to do housework, at least not in front of Qin Shu. She couldn't mop the floor as fast as him and couldn't wash the dishes as cleanly as him. Even the food she cooked wasn't as good as his. Of course, that was limited to Western food. Therefore, her Mr. Qin was a perfect husband who could do anything. He could be in the living room and in the kitchen. After Qin Shu finished, he curled up on the sofa with Huamin and watched a boring cartoon. The two ate potato chips and chatted. Do you think your mom wants to hate me for the rest of her life? Why do you say that? Qin Shu looked down and asked softly. The internet says that mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law are natural enemies. For example, a mothers-in-law played a video game and kept a fake account for many years. Eventually, she had all the equipment she needed, but her account was suddenly hacked by someone called her daughter-in-law. Do you think she would feel good about that? Honey, where did you hear that? Qin Shu was surprised. It's all from the internet. Also, do you know why grandmothers usually like their granddaughters-in-law? I don't know. Qin Shu shook his head. After chewing the potato chips in her mouth, Huamin slowly said, That's because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Okay, honey, you win this time. Qin Shu couldn't help but exclaim at the power of the internet. Although Huamin's words were funny, they actually made sense. The two chatted until 9 o'clock. Finally, Huamin felt sleepy. Qin Shu carried her all the way to the bedroom on the second floor. After filling the bathtub with water, Qin Shu came out and called Huamin, Honey, the water is ready. We can take a bath now. Okay. Huamin walked in a daze. Before she could react, Qin Shu pushed her into the bathroom. Before they could take off their bathrobes, they were drenched by the water. Ah, you? Huamin didn't have time to finish his sentence. Her lips were sealed by Qin Shu's cool lips. Huamin felt his body turn soft, as if he was about to melt. Qin Shu had measured the temperature of the water in the pool with a thermometer. It was 45 degrees, which was just right for the human body. The bathtub in the bathroom was wider than normal, so it was not crowded when two people went in at the same time. Huamin closed her eyes and felt Qin Chu's warmth and gentleness. She didn't know when Qin Chu had taken off her soaked bathrobe. Under the clear water, Huamin's exquisite, smooth, and fair body was revealed. The lights in the bathroom were warm and a little dim yellow. The warm feeling of the sun shining on her body increased the mood by quite a bit. Qin Chu kissed all the way down her neck and then down. With every inch of skin he kissed, Huamin felt like there were countless little bugs in her body moving restlessly. It was an indescribable feeling, as if she wanted more. The two bodies were entwined in the bathtub. With Qin Chu's light movements, the water rose and fell. He didn't want to go too fast. He just wanted to slowly feel the endless beauty in Mion's body. "Mion, open your eyes and look at me," Qin Chu whispered in her ear with his magical voice. Chapter 437. Huamin slowly opened her eyes. Her clear eyes were filled with gentleness. She would only show this gentle side of her when she was with Qin Chu. How many people would spend their lives with the person they loved the most until their hair turned white? On that starry night on Yunding Mountain, she made a wish to a shooting star. At the time, Qin Chu asked her what it was. She didn't tell him because it was the first and most beautiful dream in her heart in her half-awake state. Huamin felt her body become very light, as if she was floating. In the end, she couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. In her exhaustion, she fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, when Huamin woke up, it was already 7 o'clock in the morning. After she washed up, she walked downstairs. Qin Chu had already made breakfast and was reading the financial news on his phone. "Morning." When Qin Chu heard Huamin's voice, he immediately put down his phone, looked up, and gently asked, "Did you sleep well?" "MHM." Huamin nodded. She was more or less a little shy. Last night, the two of them were in the bathtub. "Okay, let's not talk about it. It's too dirty to talk about it in the morning." "You made Chinese food?" Huamin was a little surprised when she saw the Chinese breakfast on the table. Qin Chu rarely made Chinese food. Even if he did, it would be simple fried eggs, vegetable noodles, or something like that. But today it was congee with pork and century egg and pumpkin pie. Oh my God, pumpkin pie! The pumpkin pie didn't look very round, and it was even a little burnt. The congee is easier, but the pumpkin pie is more difficult. I didn't get the timing right, so it's a little burnt. I don't think so. It looks very delicious. After speaking, Huamin picked up a pumpkin and put it in her bowl. Then, she lowered her head and took a small bite. "How is it?" Qin Chu asked a little nervously. "It's very tasty and sweet." "Did you steam the pumpkin and put in the noodles?" Qin Chu nodded. "You're a genius," Huamin exclaimed. Pumpkin pancakes were more difficult to make. Although she liked to eat them, she was too lazy to make them. Most of them were half-finished products bought from the supermarket. After he came back, he fried it. It was his first time eating handmade food. Although it didn't look good, it was really delicious. Huamin had a great appetite. He ate 3 pumpkin pies and 2 bowls of congee with pork and century egg. After breakfast, the two of them went downstairs and prepared to go to work. "Honey, our company is having a charity auction tonight to raise money for the Mion Foundation. It starts at 7 p.m., so after you get off work, come find me at GK. The dress is at the company, and we'll attend the auction together," Qin Chu instructed. All right. Huamin was very interested when she heard that it was about the Mion Foundation. During her days on Yunding Mountain, she and Qin Chu went into the countryside to experience the children there. All of them were malnourished, and some of them even ate salted vegetables for lunch. It was so sad that it made her cry. Huamin didn't think that doing charity wasn't about love or anything. She just felt that she should help as many people as she could within her means. At the very least, seeing those children living a good life because of his own efforts, he felt very comfortable in his heart. Giving roses to others would leave a lingering fragrance in her hands after they arrived at Southside. Huamin began working for the day. Head nurse, a new patient came into room 7 last night, and he refused to cooperate with us. What illness did he have? Huamin asked as he looked at the information on the computer. Mania? Are you kidding me? Isn't mania a psychiatric disorder? Why was he sent to the orthopedics department? Huamin looked at the nurse in surprise. The psychiatry department said that there were too many patients and they were full. The orthopedics department has had a lot of empty beds recently, so nonsense, let's go take a look. Then, Huamin led the nurse to room 7. As soon as she opened the door, a pillow flew at Huamin and almost hit her face. Luckily, she reacted quickly and tilted her head to avoid it. Chapter 438. Get out. All of you get out of here. I don't want to be here. I want to go out and play games. Huamin followed the voice and saw a 17 or 18-year-old boy lying on the hospital bed. He was skinny, his face was slightly yellow, and there were dark circles under his eyes. It was obvious that he didn't sleep well. Huamin glanced at his medical record. Huang Jiaming, male, 17 years old, a student from second high school. Due to his bipolar disorder, he violated school rules many times and was forced to quit school. His parents were the owners of the largest supermarket chain in the area. He was the only child of a well-to-do family. With this information, Huamin could basically determine the cause of his illness. Therefore, he walked toward the boy. Head nurse, don't go over there, it's dangerous, the nurse behind her reminded, afraid that Huamin would be hurt. You're Huang Jiaming, right? Who are you? Let me out, or else I'll tear your hospital apart. Do you believe me? The boy said rebelliously. Huamin smiled slightly. What are you smiling at? Do you think I don't dare? The boy was furious. Huamin shook his head. I believe you. I just feel like I see myself in you. When I was your age, I was also very naughty. Back then, I skipped classes in second high and was caught by the principal when I climbed over the wall. You're from second high, too? The boy's eyes were filled with excitement. Huamin nodded. Second high's teaching quality is high, but there's a lot of homework and exams. I didn't like to study back then, so I often skipped classes. Me too. I didn't like our teacher. He always had a sad face. The boy immediately agreed. You like to play online games? Yeah, I like to play League of Legends. What a coincidence, me too. My favorite character is Scarecrow. What about you? Huamin asked with a smile. Scarecrow? It's not good in one-on-one fights, but it's good in AoE. I like to use Annie. The boy smiled, as if he no longer had any hostility towards Huamin. Annie, the cute little girl with the bear in her hand. Huamin said with a smile. The young man immediately said excitedly, Yes, that little bear is very powerful. Every time I use Annie, my chances of winning are especially high. The prerequisite is that you don't get a pig-like teammate, Huamin added. Yes, that's right. Sister, it seems that we are kindred spirits. Can you discuss with the hospital and give me a notebook? It's so boring here. I want to play a few rounds. The youth looked at Huamin and pleaded. That's not a problem, but I have a condition. What conditions? You can only play for 1 hour a day, and after you're done playing, you have to cooperate with the nurse to draw your blood, infusion, and take your medicine on time. Okay. The young man looked reluctant. If you don't agree, then forget it. I'll leave first, Huamin said, getting up to leave. Don't, sister, I promise. Then you have to be obedient and not make a scene. You have to take care of the patient next door first, okay? After you stay here for a while and get better, you can go home, Huamin comforted. Okay. The young man nodded obediently. After walking out of the room, Huamin ordered, bring my laptop to him every morning at 9:30 a.m. and take it back at 10:30 a.m. After that, give him an injection and take his medicine. Head nurse, is this okay? If the higher-ups find out? The young nurse was obviously worried. If the higher-ups find out, I'll keep an eye on him. Go. Okay. Huamin could basically confirm from the conversation just now that the young man was a child who lacked companionship since he was young. Even when he played games, the hero he chose was the girl with the bear. This proved that he lacked a sense of security and companionship. As the standard of living improved, many parents neglected their children's growth in order to make money, resulting in many children's mental health problems. Huamin sighed slightly. If she had a baby in the future, she couldn't be like this. She could make less money, but children only needed companionship for a few years in their lives. Once they grew up, they would no longer need their parents' protection. After a busy day, Huasiqian suddenly came to work when he was about to get off work. He knocked on Huamin's office door. "Hi." Huamin looked up, his eyes indifferent. "What's the matter?" Chapter 439. I just came back from a business trip to Japan and brought you 2 bags. Then, Huasiqian walked in and placed a large paper bag on Huamin's desk. The bag had the name of the brand on it, Hermes. Huamin knew that this was a luxury brand and wasn't cheap. Qin Chu had prepared a lot for her in her closet, but she didn't take them because they were too eye-catching. "I don't want them. Don't think too much about it. I didn't buy them especially for you. I bought them for my date, and I bought too many of them. These designs are on sale. If you don't like them, you can give them away or throw them away. It's up to you." Then, Huasiqian turned around and left. "Hey?" Before Huamin could finish, he disappeared. Looking at the 2 designer bags and the paper bag, Huamin was speechless. Was Huasiqian crazy? Why did he buy her bags? Even if he didn't buy them especially for her, they weren't close enough for him to give her designer bags, right? However, ever since Huamin found out that she wasn't Huasiqian's daughter, she didn't dislike him as much as she used to. Since she wasn't even a part of the Hua family, she had to ask Huasiqian to resign from her position as the president of the Hua Foundation. After all, she couldn't take advantage of him. If her surname wasn't Hua, then what was it? Huamin was quite curious. After work, she didn't forget what Qin Shu told her this morning, so she drove straight to GK. In order to get to the top floor, Assistant Yang personally came down to greet her, a young lady. Assistant Yang immediately greeted her. Huamin smiled and followed Assistant Yang up to the top floor. Qin Shu was still in the meeting room. Xiao Yang poured a cup of coffee for Huamin and said, "A young lady, have some coffee first. The stylist and costume designer will be here soon. The president said that you should dress up first and go straight to the hotel." "All right. Thank you for your hard work." "Not at all. Not at all." "Huh. I have to thank a young lady for putting in a good word for me. That's why the president didn't deduct my salary." Yang really liked a young lady because he felt that she didn't put on airs at all and was easygoing. 3 minutes later, 2 women walked in, followed by the makeup artist and the costume designer. 40 minutes later, Qin Chu returned to his office from the conference room. When she saw that Huamin had finished dressing up, she was completely stunned. She was wearing a light yellow evening gown with a small V-neck and diamond-studded neckline. The skirt was slit, revealing one side of her thighs. It was sexy, but not gorgeous. Her hair was coiled up, and there was a white gardenia flower on one side. It was a fresh flower, very fragrant, very beautiful, full of immortal aura. On her feet was a pair of white high heels with diamonds on the heels. It was extremely luxurious. She was wearing expensive jewelry around her neck, ears, and wrists. Huamin originally didn't like these things because she thought they were too flashy. However, the stylist said that these were GK's new designs and that a young lady would be able to advertise her brand if she wore them. So, in the end, Huamin silently accepted them. The bag in her hand was a white rectangular bag with tassels. It was simple and elegant, and was a limited edition Chanel bag. Huamin estimated that this outfit cost at least a few 100,000 yuan. She even had a lot of diamonds, but that was still a conservative estimate. The true value of this outfit was more than 8 million yuan, because the set of jewelry she was wearing was close to 5 million yuan. When Qin Chu walked in, Huamin was standing by the window and looking at the scenery downstairs. When she heard footsteps, she would turn around and look. Qin Chu was almost instantly killed. He finally understood a bit of an ancient poem. Looking back with a smile, all the beauties of the 6 palaces pale in comparison. This wasn't just the beauties of the 6 palaces pale in comparison. It was as if all the women in the world couldn't compare to Huamin's beauty. In his eyes, she was just like that. "Beautiful lady, have you seen my wife, Huamin?" Qin Chu asked with a smile. Chapter 440. Who's Huamin? Huamin asked on purpose. Qin Chu walked over and picked her up by the waist. Huamin was so scared that she screamed, "What are you doing? Put me down." Qin Chu spun her around in the air a couple of times before finally put her down. Then he lightly kissed her lips. "Tonight, you're the brightest. Don't try to fool me." Huamin chuckled. "I'm serious. Let's go." Then, Qin Chu held Huamin's hand and swaggered out of GK. Huamin wasn't used to such a high-profile appearance during GK's rush hour. Luckily, Qin Chu held her hand the entire time, and the two walked out of the lobby and got onto the Maybach. Oh my God, is the president holding a woman's hand? Duh, of course it's a woman. Who else could it be? That woman is so pretty. Are they going to announce their relationship? I wonder which socialite she is. Yeah, the president finally has a girlfriend. I'm so sad, Saab, we won't have a chance. Many female employees gossiped in private. Zhang Linyue walked out of the elevator with a sour expression on her face. Tonight was GK's charity auction banquet, and she had an invitation. She even prepared a dress for herself. She originally wanted to wear GK's 5 million yuan set of jewelry at the auction to show off and get the president to take notice of her. However, she was told that the president had already taken the set of jewelry. She just saw that woman wearing it, and she didn't feel good about it. She participated in the design of that set of jewelry, so why did it end up being someone else's? In the past, she was always in charge of GK's jewelry showcases. Director Jiang, are you still going to the charity banquet? The assistant asked carefully. Of course, why wouldn't I? I worked so hard to design that set of jewelry. After speaking, Zhang Linyue walked out with a cold expression and drove away in her BMW. It was Huamin's first time attending an auction banquet, so he wasn't used to it. There were a lot of people, and they were all celebrities. In a trance, she saw a familiar face. It was Su Yu. He actually came as well. President Qin is here, someone in the crowd said. Qin Chu was dressed in a black slim-fit suit. Huamin was standing beside him, holding his arm. The two of them slowly walked in under everyone's gaze. Su Yu's gaze became complicated and deep. Io, is that Huamin? It's so bright, it almost blinded my 24K dog eyes, Wei Liao said with a smile as he held a glass of red wine. Su Yu didn't say anything, but his eyes never left Huamin. President Qin, please sit in the front row. The person in charge of the hotel carefully introduced Qin, Chu, and Huamin. They walked to the most obvious spot in the front row and sat down. The air conditioner in the hall was very strong. Qin Chu took off his suit jacket and put on Huamin. This small action caused quite a commotion. Is that President Qin's girlfriend? How come the media didn't report about it? Yeah, didn't they say that the president just came back not long ago? Is she his girlfriend? Or is she an employee? She can't be an employee. They look really close. Many socialites whispered to each other. They suddenly felt like their hopes were dashed. They originally wanted to get closer to Qin Chu at the auction. However, he brought a girlfriend and took care of her meticulously. TSK, look at how attentive she is. She didn't even ask. She just took off her suit jacket and put it on. It seems like Qin Chu really loves her, Wei Liao sighed. No one will think you're mute if you don't speak, Su Yu said coldly. Chapter 441. You can't stand it already? If they show off their love later, you'll be even more upset. I told you not to come, but you came looking for abuse. You even spent money to get abused, Wei Liao complained. GK invited many celebrities to the charity dinner, so it was up to the guests to attend. The purpose of this dinner was obvious. The company would auction off items, and the guests would fork out money for charity. However, many people were willing to come, not because they were passionate about charity, but because they wanted to improve their relationship with GK. They wanted to build a good relationship with the new president, Qin Chu, so that they could work together in the future. So you didn't have to come, because he was in the entertainment industry, and GK had never invested in media. He only came because GK's foundation was called the Mian Foundation. Su Yu knew that the foundation was named after Huamin, so he had to come. He even dragged Wei Liao with him. Let's begin, Qin Chu ordered. Then, the MC walked to the center of the room and began the prelude. The first item is a sandalwood fan from the early Qing dynasty. It's part of GK's President's collection, and the starting bid is 300,000 yuan. I bid 300,000 yuan, 350,000 yuan, 450,000 yuan. Several rich businessmen began a fight over the item, and in the end, the sandalwood fan was sold at a high price of 600,000 yuan. Huamin was in a good mood as she watched the auction. She knew that all of the money raised from this auction would go to the Mian Foundation. The money would be used to pay for the children's meals and school construction in the depths of Yunding Mountain. More than an hour had passed since Zhang Zian had taken a lot of photos. "Are you hungry?" Qin Chu whispered into her ear. "I'm okay. Bear with it for a bit. We'll go eat after this." "Okay." Huamin nodded. The two of them sat in the first row with their fingers interlocked, and they continued to watch the auction. Finally, the MC announced solemnly, "The last item is GK's new jewelry. It was developed by 7 famous designers, and it's called Prosperous Age Fenghua." Then, the big screen began to introduce the composition, style, and design concept of the jewelry. Huamin only found out that the set of jewelry he was wearing was worth 5 million yuan after reading the introduction. Finally, the host said, "Let's welcome Miss Hua to the stage to show everyone the real deal. Go, don't be nervous." Qin Chu comforted her. Huamin nodded. He got up and carefully walked on the stage. Then, he stood under the spotlight. She had a warm smile on her face from beginning to end. Her smile was very sweet and beautiful. Su Yu's eyes never left her face. "Hey, don't look at it anymore. Be careful that it gets stuck in your eyes and you can't pull it out," Wei Liao joked. Next up is Flourishing Youth. The starting price is 5 million. Let's begin. 5 million, someone shouted in pain. 6, 8 million. 8,800,000. 10, 5 million. This was a limited edition set of jewelry. Because the company only designed one set, many rich businessmen kept it for themselves. They would either give it to their wives, daughters, or lovers. All in all, the bidding was intense as soon as the auction began. The price jumped by a lot as well. 18 million. Qin Chu raised his paddle. Did he want to pay for it himself? No, he only wanted to raise the price to raise more money. As expected, after Qin Chu joined in, the competition became even more intense. 19, 9 million. Someone raised his paddle. 30 million. This time, Qin Chu directly jumped the price by 10 million. No one made a move. After all, 30 million was already too high. 30 million going once, 30 million going twice, 30 million. The host didn't finish his sentence. Before the host could finish speaking, a deep voice from the back row said, 50 million. As soon as this was said, the crowd went into an uproar. Huamin was also slightly surprised. She stood in the middle of the stage and looked through the crowd at the last person who raised his paddle. That person was Su Yu. Chapter 442. When everyone saw that it was Su Yu who raised the placard, they didn't find it strange anymore. After all, one of Su Yu's biggest hobbies was to burn money. Young Master Su made a bid. No wonder. I was wondering who was so generous. Yeah, I wonder which girlfriend Lord Su is going to give this set to. He's so lucky, haha. It's probably Zhao Qingya. Hasn't she been favored recently? I don't think so. I heard that he's already gotten rid of her and replaced her with someone new. The socialites whispered to each other. The host was a bit excited. 50 million. President Su of Imperial Star Entertainment has bid as high as 50 million. Is there any higher bid? The crowd fell silent. 50 million going once, 50 million going twice, 50 million going thrice sold. Congratulations, President Su Yu of Imperial Star Entertainment. As soon as the host finished speaking, the crowd burst into thunderous applause. Qin Chu didn't say anything, but the corners of his mouth curled up. This set of jewelry was worth 5 million, but it was sold for 50 million. It was worth it. You're really burning money. That set of jewelry was only 5 million. You're really doing GK a favor. Oh, wait. You're doing Huamin a favor. Wei Liao felt bad for Su Yu. President Su, please come down and accept the jewelry, the host said with a smile. Suyu stood up, adjusted the collar of his suit, and walked up to the center of the stage. Two hostesses carefully removed the jewelry from Hua Min's body. It was an earring, a necklace, and a bracelet. Then, they placed it on a tray and handed it to Hua Min. Hua Min handed the jewelry to Suyu. Congratulations. Suyu didn't say anything as he slowly took the jewelry. Then, he looked around and said, Since I bought this set of jewelry at such a high price, can I make a small request? President Su, please go ahead. The host immediately responded. I want to take a picture with Miss Hua. After he said that, everyone was dumbfounded. The dignified Suyu actually asked to take a photo with this model wearing jewelry. He really didn't change his romantic nature. Hua Min was a little surprised. After all, he did not expect Suyu to make such a request. She looked at Qin Chu awkwardly. Qin Chu did not seem to object. After all, this was a public occasion. That's not a problem. Miss Hua, please stand still. The host didn't know the relationship between Hua Min and Qin Chu, so naturally, he agreed to this request on her behalf. Just then, Qin Chu slowly walked onto the stage. President Su spent so much money to buy the jewelry, which is a great honor for GK. To express my gratitude, I'd like to take a photo with him. After speaking, Qin Chu walked between Suyu and Hua Min. Qin Chu is so mean. Wei Liao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Suyu's expression was already very ugly, but he had no choice but to take this strange photo with the three of them. It was also the only time in their lives that the three of them would take a photo together. Hua Min knew that Qin Chu wouldn't give Suyu a chance to get close to her so easily. When she saw Qin Chu walk up and stand between her and Suyu, she almost burst out laughing. However, she forced herself to hold it in. Finally, the host handed a photo of the three of them to Suyu. President Su, here's your photo. Suyu took the photo with a cold expression and remained silent. After the last piece of jewelry was auctioned, the charity event ended. Qin Chu held Hua Min's hand and walked out. What do you want to eat? Let me think. Spicy hot pot is fine. I'm craving spicy food all of a sudden. Hua Min smiled. Okay. Qin Chu nodded gently and walked out with Hua Min. Suyu stood at the door, seemingly waiting for someone. When he saw Hua Min and Suyu walk out, Suyu walked up to them and said, This is for you. Hua Min looked at the set of jewelry in Suyu's hand in astonishment. President Su, you should keep such an expensive item for yourself. If my wife likes it, I can ask the design department to redesign it. Qin Chu smiled. This is mine. I can give it to whoever I want. Hua Min, take it. Suyu handed over the jewelry gift box and forced it into Hua Min's hands. Chapter 443. I don't want it. Hua Min immediately returned the jewelry to Suyu. Her actions were swift and without any hesitation. Why? Because it's too expensive. I don't think it's expensive. Take it. You took care of me for so long at the recuperation center. Take it as a gift for me to thank you. So you gave a lame excuse. Hua Min shook his head firmly. I'm an employee of the recuperation center. That's just my job. Thank you for your kindness. Then, Hua Min held on to Qin Chu's arm. Honey, let's go eat. Okay. Qin Chu nodded. Then, the two got in the Maybach and left. Suyu stood there with the jewelry in his hand as he watched the two of them leave. He didn't feel good about it. He had never envied anyone in his life because he was born with everything that others wanted. But today, he envied Qin Chu from the bottom of his heart. Hua Min stood beside him and smiled gently at him. I told you not to come. You're just asking for trouble. Wei Liao came out of the car and dragged Suyu into the car. Qin Chu and Hua Min then drove to a Sichuan spicy hot pot restaurant. The restaurant wasn't big, but it was quite crowded. Qin Chu wanted to change seats because there weren't any private rooms here. However, Hua Min thought it was too troublesome, so the two of them sat in the lobby on the first floor. The lobby was quite big. There were about 30 or so tables, and the environment was quite nice. Hua Min and Qin Chu found a table for two and sat down. Hua Min picked up a pen and began to order. Qin Shu took out his phone and looked at the summary from the charity dinner. We received a total of 230 million yuan. Not bad. Qin Shu nodded. That much. Huamin was slightly surprised. It's not that much. Suyu himself bought 50 million worth of items. Qin Shu smiled. Speaking of Suyu, Huamin was a little embarrassed as she explained, Honey, Suyu and I understand. You don't have to explain. I know your character. Qin Shu touched Huamin's small hand that was holding the ballpoint pen. Huamin suddenly felt a lot better. She was really afraid that Qin Shu would be angry because of this. Luckily, Qin Shu didn't. He could understand her position. Huamin and Qin Shu sat at the table next to each other, separated by a wall. There were 6 or 7 men eating at the table. Their voices were especially loud and noisy. The waiter went over to remind them several times, but it was no use. Just then, a tall beauty walked in through the door. She was about 1.7 meters tall, had long legs, fair skin, and good looks. She looked like she was in her 20s. Although it was autumn, she only wore denim shorts and a white loose t-shirt. In her hand was a Louis Vuitton handbag. She sat down not too far away from Huamin and Qin Shu. The men at the table next to them looked over from time to time. Then, they deliberately said in a loud voice, Nowadays, do you know what a young woman wearing designer clothes relies on? Her godfather, haha. She calls him godfather during the day and gets fucked by him at night. Unsightly words followed. Huamin couldn't stand it anymore. She really hated it when men gossiped. Why did they say such disgusting and obscene things instead of eating? The beauty obviously heard it as well. She glanced over at them. The men became even more impudent. Some even whistled at the woman. It was blatant flirting. The beauty's expression changed. Then, she got up and walked toward the bathroom. As she walked, she took out her phone. Dad, ask someone to come over and help me take care of something. When she walked past Huamin heard her say a few words. Oh no, someone's going to be in big trouble. Huamin looked at the group of stinky men with an amused expression. They were still drinking happily. 10 minutes later, 6 Mercedes-Benz 600 sedans stopped in front of the hot pot restaurant. More than 10 men in black t-shirts got out of the cars with baseball bats in their hands. As soon as they came in, they didn't say anything and directly beat up the men at the table. Immediately, beer bottles flew everywhere and howls of pain filled the air. The other customers were so scared that they screamed. Qin Shu immediately pulled Huamin to the side, afraid that she would get hurt. A few minutes later, the men all fell to the ground. Their faces were covered in blood. It was a horrible sight. The tall beauty slowly walked towards them in her high heels. Chapter 444. Then, the beautiful woman stepped on one of the men's hands and slowly said, Weren't you curious about who I relied on? Let me tell you, I didn't rely on my godfather. It's my biological father. Don't talk nonsense. Don't ever let me see you again, or I'll beat you up every time I see you. Then, the beautiful woman and her men turned around and left without even eating the hot pot. The restaurant owner was so scared that he didn't dare to stop them. Someone even called the police, but when the police came, it was just a routine question. Were you scared? Qin Shu asked as he hugged Huamin. No, I enjoyed watching them. Who told them to gossip? Great, they got beaten up, didn't they? A bunch of grown men gossiping and insulting a little girl. How disgusting. They deserve to be beaten up. Huamin laughed. Let's go. Let's go to another restaurant. The two of them didn't even get to eat much before this happened, so they stopped eating. On the way home, they passed by a McDonald's. Huamin said that he hadn't had hamburgers in a long time, so the two of them ate fast food. Inside a high-end club, so he was in a bad mood. He drank 2 bottles of wine and was a little tipsy. Don't drink anymore. We're almost done, Wei Liao said as he looked at the empty bottles. So you didn't say anything, but his expression was quite melancholic. He picked up his phone and scrolled through Weibo. Huamin hadn't updated in a long time. He wanted to talk to her, but he couldn't reach her. It wasn't that he didn't have her phone, but he couldn't call her. So he was quite dignified when it came to this. Pestering her wasn't a solution, and it wasn't his style. Old Wei, do you think I still have a chance? So you sighed and asked, Are you telling the truth or a lie? Of course I'm telling the truth. Suyu rolled his eyes at him. Judging from the current situation, the chances of you succeeding are very small, very slim. After all, you've only known Huamin for a few days. I heard that Qinshu and her have known each other for many years. They were high school classmates and childhood sweethearts. Then you'd better tell the lie, Suyu immediately retorted. The lie. If you're thick-skinned enough to force yourself between them, it's not impossible. Although it's shameful to be a homewrecker, true love is innocent. Haha. Why did Suyu feel even more depressed? Did he really want to be a homewrecker? Suyu, young Master Su? Or you could just wait for Huamian to get divorced, Wei Liao added. What if she doesn't divorces me? Am I a fucking monk? Suyu said angrily. If she doesn't want a divorce, then think of a way to get one for her. Use faces, huh? The point is, I'm telling the truth. Wei Liao snickered. After a while, he picked up an empty wine bottle and threw it on the floor, clang. The sound of the wine bottle shattering scared everyone in the private room so much that they didn't dare to move. What's wrong with Lord Su? A few rich kids asked. Suyu slowly got up and grabbed his tie. The thing I hate the most in my life is childhood sweethearts. Then, he slammed the door and left. Suyu felt like the heavens were unfair. Why didn't he meet Huamin first? Why did it have to be Qinshu? Why wasn't Huamin his high school classmate? The problem was, Suyu didn't even have the time to attend high school before he joined the army. Those few years were blank. Suyu got into the black Lamborghini element and sped off. The black Lamborghini roared in the middle of the night. The sound was deafening. Suyu was a good racer. Whether it was his fancy performance or his driving skills, they were all excellent. It took him less than 8 minutes to drive from the clubhouse to the private mansion. After he got out of the car, he vaguely saw a small figure standing at the door. After he saw clearly, he frowned slightly. Why are you here? Chapter 445. The residential area Suyu lived in was famous for the rich. Only the residents of the area could enter. However, Zhao Qingyao was a celebrity and Suyu's ex-girlfriend, so the security guards didn't stop her when they saw her car. Suyu gave the pink Lamborghini to Huamin last time, but Huamin didn't want it. In the end, Zhao Qingyao picked it up. She didn't bring her agent today. Plus, she came here in the middle of the night to wait for Suyu. Everyone knew what she was thinking. I've been waiting for you for more than an hour. Zhao Qingyao didn't have the keys to the mansion, so she could only wait outside. She knew that Suyu didn't want to spend the night outside. They used to stay in a hotel, and after they were done, they had to go back to the private mansion. Suyu bought this mansion for more than 50 million yuan and spent another 50 million to renovate it. The cost was more than 100 million yuan. It shocked all the rich people in the area. The private garden in the back alone was more than 400 square meters, which showed how luxurious it was. Ever since Suyu came back from the military, he rarely went back to the Su family's old mansion. He was used to being alone. Zhao Qingyao came here a few times, but she didn't spend the night here. Suyu didn't seem to want to bring a woman back. After all, this was his real home. Come in. Suyu pressed the remote, used his fingerprint and retina password to open the mansion door. Zhao Qingyao was wearing a white dress, looking pure and sweet. She followed behind him and walked in silently. What would you like to drink? Suyu asked in front of the fridge. Coke. Suyu took out a can of beer and a can of Coke. He handed the can of Coke to Zhao Qingyao, then sat down on the sofa. There was a control panel on the edge of the sofa. With a light press, the air conditioner, TV air purification system, and the super luxurious night light in the aquarium all turned on. Suddenly, the lights were on. Wei Liao once said that Suyu was going to turn his home into an aquarium. The ceiling and the surroundings of the living room were made of tempered glass, and there were all kinds of tropical fish swimming around. Seaweed, corals, reefs, and even white whales and sharks. Of course, they all had their own areas. Last time, Wei Liao asked if he wanted a place with penguins and polar bears. Suyu said seriously, I'll think about it when I'm free. Wei Liao almost choked. Not to mention Suyu, anyone would feel comfortable in such a luxurious mansion. The feeling of returning home was like jumping into the sea. What's the matter? Su Yu sat on the sofa opposite Zhao Qingya and asked indifferently, "It's nothing. I just haven't been in a good mood lately, so I wanted to come and see you. Didn't you go out to film?" Su Yu asked casually. "I haven't asked my manager to arrange so many scenes for me recently. My body is a little weak this year. Last time, I fell from the pressure and injured my waist, so a lot of the fight scenes were cut off. If you're not feeling well, then you should take a break and rest for a while. Maybe you should go on a trip overseas." Zhao Qingya's eyes lit up, and she immediately said, "President Su, do you have time? How about we go to New Zealand for a few days?" "I don't have time. I'm busy at the company," Su Yu refused right away. Zhao Qingya was slightly disappointed. "You really don't have anything else to talk to me about, right?" Su Yu was drunk and didn't have the patience to continue chatting with Zhao Qingya. He wanted to go to bed. Upon hearing this, Zhao Qingya slowly walked over and sat down beside Su Yu. Her fair hand slid down from Su Yu's chest. "President Su, I want to stay with you tonight." This was the first time Zhao Qingya was so straightforward with her seduction. In the past, she always tried to resist. Upon hearing this, Su Yu narrowed his eyes and sized up the woman beside him. Chapter 446. Zhao Qingya saw that Su Yu didn't say anything, so she boldly reached her hand down. She believed that her passion could seduce Su Yu. Perhaps she was too confident in herself, so when Su Yu pushed her away, she was a little dumbfounded. "I'm not in the mood. If you want to stay, there's a guest room on the first floor. If you don't want to stay, you can drive home." Then, Su Yu got up and walked upstairs to his bedroom. Zhao Qingya felt like she was slapped in the face. This was the first time she actively threw herself at him, but she was rejected. She was almost certain that Su Yu wasn't interested in her. Did he like someone else? She originally thought that Su Yu liked Mion, but recently, she hired someone to keep an eye on Mion. That woman was either acting or going home. Basically, she had zero interaction with Su Yu, and they would occasionally run into each other at the company. Su Yu didn't seem to care about her either. He seemed to have forgotten who Mion was. If she wasn't a newcomer at the company, could she be a socialite or someone outside of the industry? Zhao Qingya was confused. Was she going to stay the night? Of course not. Why would she stay in the guest room? It was meaningless. Just as she got up and was about to leave, she suddenly saw Su Yu's phone light up. It turned out that he had a WeChat message. She looked at the notification and saw that it was from Wei Liao while her phone was still flashing. She suddenly discovered a key piece of information. Su Yu's screensaver was a woman's photo. This had never happened before. She had known Su Yu for a few years, and Su Yu's screensaver had always been the scenery. Sometimes, he would change it to his beloved car. There had never been a woman's photo that could be used as his screensaver. But now there was one. Even though it was just a flash, Zhao Qingya still recognized it. Wasn't that woman the nurse at Southside? She was the plain-looking one who didn't stand out at all. She was someone who was easy to forget. She actually seduced Su Yu. Wasn't it just for fun? Zhao Qingya felt very hurt. When she first heard rumors that Su Yu was interested in a nurse, she thought that it was just because Su Yu didn't want to be lonely when he was recuperating and wanted to have some fun. She didn't expect that Su Yu would still contact her after such a long time. Moreover, he even used that woman's photo as a screensaver. This was simply huge news. After Su Yu went upstairs, he looked for his phone. Suddenly, he remembered that he had left it downstairs, so he turned around and went downstairs. "You haven't left yet?" he asked coldly when he saw Zhao Qingya still standing in the living room. Right away, "President Su, are you in love with another woman?" Zhao Qingya asked pitifully as she bit her lip. Su Yu raised his eyebrows. "Do I need to report to you who I like?" "No, that's not what I meant. I just wanted to say that if you really have a woman you like, I'll give you my blessing." "Thank you for your blessing." Then, Su Yu picked up his phone and went upstairs. Zhao Qingya, on the other hand, left Su Yu's private mansion dejectedly. Upstairs, Su Yu lay on his spacious bed. He turned on his phone and quietly stared at his screensaver for a few seconds. Even though this photo was taken secretly, the more he looked at it, the more he liked it. Suddenly, he thought of something. He got up and took out a photo he took at the auction today from his bag. Then he took out a pair of scissors from his drawer and cut off Chin Chu from the middle, throwing it into the trash can. Only he and Huamin were left. Without any obstacles, they looked much more pleasing to the eye. Then he found some glue and glued the photo back together. Needless to say, the photo didn't look out of place at all. Finally, Suyu happily took a photo with his phone and photoshopped it, fixing the lighting and gaps in the middle. Finally, he sent it to Wei Liao. "Fuck, what's going on?" Wei Liao immediately replied when he saw the photo. Chapter 447. The situation is what you saw, Suyu replied proudly. "Don't talk nonsense with me. I'm asking about the photo. Isn't there a person in the middle?" "I cut it off, then glued it back together. Finally, I photoshopped the photo." "Haha, I always thought you were a silver genius," Wei Liao said halfway. "What about now?" "Now I realize that you're a genius. You must have been a tailor in your previous life. How did you come up with this?" Wei Liao laughed maniacally. Suyu replied proudly, "I'm the only one who can come up with such a good idea. Is it really okay for you to be so fantasizing? It's not as satisfying as being in real life. You have to continue working hard and become a real person as soon as possible. Go away. You're too dirty. I can't talk to you. Go to sleep. Damn, you're still pretending to be innocent. You really look like you're experiencing your first awakening of love." Wei Liao looked at Suyu as if he had found his first love. He was so mysterious all day. He was speechless. When Huamin and Chin Chu returned home, it was already very late. The two showered and went to bed. Huamin was wearing a white lace nightgown. He lay in Chin Chu's arms and played with his phone. He scrolled through his WeChat moments. He found a very sensitive issue. Jixin posted a picture of spicy duck head in Wanda Plaza in the morning. Huan Yu also posted a picture in the evening. Although it wasn't a big deal, the two of them might have gone to eat separately. It was just a coincidence. However, Huamin felt that the two of them must have eaten together. Moreover, Jixin's recent posts on WeChat moments were obviously filled with happiness. Huan Yu is also shy like a little woman. This child is really disobedient. Huamin sighed. "What's wrong?" Chin Chu turned his head and asked. Huamin then told him about Jixin and Huang Yu. After hearing this, Chin Chu didn't have much of an expression. "It's normal for young people to fall in love. That's right. I'm not trying to stop Jixin from dating. It's just that he and Huang Yu are both simple-minded. If things don't go well in the future and they get hurt, it'll be a huge blow to both of them. You seem to be thinking too much. Isn't it normal to be frustrated in love? Jixin is a man. You can't always worry about his injuries. The more you worry about him, the harder it will be for him to be independent." This was Chin Chu's opinion. Perhaps men and women had different standpoints. Huamin was eager to protect her younger brother, so it was normal for her to be worried. Chin Chu was right. Who doesn't fall in love? Who could get into a relationship on the first try? Isn't it normal to break up? What's more, the two of them were in love and hadn't broken up yet. Huamin's imagination was already running wild. "You're right, so don't think too much. You'll get tired if you think too much." Chin Chu dotingly flicked Huamin's forehead. Huamin immediately closed his eyes. "Then let's go to sleep. I'm sleepy." "Are you going to sleep now? We still have things to do. You're so perverted." Huamin immediately covered his face with his hands. "Honey, I'm talking about how we haven't said goodnight to each other before we go to sleep. Are you thinking about other places?" Huamin was now completely embarrassed. He immediately lifted the big blanket and hid his head under it. Chin Chu also hid under it. "Ah, don't touch me, it tickles." Under the blanket, the two of them were tangled up. The next day, Huamin was working the night shift, so he drove home during the day and bought a lot of things. Because Yang Meirong was still angry, she didn't say a word to Huamin, nor did she go to pick up the things he bought. "Mom, take care of yourself. I'm leaving now," Huamin said before he left. Yang Meirong still ignored him, but Huamin felt like his mom didn't kick him out, nor did she mention anything about cutting ties with him. It was probably because Jixin's words last time were effective At around 5 p.m., Huamin drove to Southside Recuperation Center. He had a staff meal and then had a meeting. When he came out and was about to do his rounds, he received a phone call. "Is this Huamin?" "You are?" Looking at the unfamiliar number, Huamin was confused. Chapter 448. I'm Zhao Qingya. I'm on the rooftop of your hospital. Can we talk? Miss Zhao, I don't think we know each other that well. I have something to talk to you about. That's all. Zhao Qingya hung up before Huamin could say anything. Huamin was speechless. She knew that Zhao Qingya was a popular celebrity. She would occasionally go home and watch some of Zhao Qingya's period dramas. Zhao Qingya's acting skills were pretty good. However, Zhao Qingya really didn't want to have anything to do with Zhao Qingya in her daily life. Zhao Qingya didn't like Zhao Qingya and thought that Zhao Qingya wasn't a good person. However, there wasn't anything going on between her and Suyu, so she didn't care about Zhao Qingya. If another woman tried to fight with her for Qin Chu, she would teach her a lesson. Zhao Qingya thought about it and decided to go to the rooftop. If she didn't go this time, Zhao Qingya might continue to pester her. 5 minutes later, on the rooftop of the nursing home, Zhao Qingya's agent and bodyguards were waiting at the bottom of the stairs. Zhao Qingya was wearing black sportswear, a black baseball cap, and a white mask. Huamin was wearing a white lab coat. "You're here." Zhao Qingya heard footsteps and turned around. "Miss Zhao, why are you looking for me? If it's business, I suggest you talk to me in my office. If it's personal, I don't think we know each other that well. There shouldn't be anything personal to talk about. My time is precious, so I won't beat around the bush with you. I'll get straight to the point. When did you seduce young Master Su?" "Young Master Su? You mean Suyu?" Huamin frowned slightly. "Don't play dumb." Zhao Qingya took off her mask and stared coldly at Huamin. "There's nothing going on between Suyu and me. How could I seduce him?" "Miss Zhao, are you hallucinating because you've been acting too much?" Huamin sneered. Zhao Qingya's expression changed slightly. Her eyes were filled with anger. "Don't talk nonsense. I saw your photo on young Master Su's phone last night." "My photo?" Huamin was slightly surprised. "Yes, he even used that photo as a screensaver. Now you're telling me that there's nothing going on between you and young Master Su? Are you kidding me? Or do you think I'm an idiot?" Zhao Qingya's face was ferocious when she cursed, which was completely different from her usual image on TV. If Qin Chu's fans saw her like this, they would probably be scared. Are you sure?" "Of course," she replied. "Now, as Hua, Qingis, since when did he have a photo? She didn't remember giving it to him. "Oh, I remember now. Was it at the charity banquet?" She thought it was the photo they took together. However, before she could finish, Zhao Qingya interrupted her. "Young Master Su is not suitable for you. Why don't you take a look at your own status and quit as soon as possible?" Young Master Su has a lot of women around him, and all of them are more outstanding than you. None of them last long, and you are just a flash in the pan. So quit while you are ahead. You have been with him for so many days, and you must have reaped a lot of benefits. Then stop immediately and stop pestering him, or you will die miserably. Otherwise, you'll end up dead. Haha, who are you to tell me this? Miss Zhao, if I remember correctly, Suyu never admitted that you're his girlfriend, nor did he give you any status. You're just an artist under his company. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you're here to talk to me? And you're so arrogant as to warn me. Chapter 449. I've been with young Master Su for 3 years, and I'm the woman who's been with him the longest. I won't leave him, and I won't allow any other woman to be with him. I can play with him, but after that, don't blame me for being rude. You're just a nurse from a small hospital. Don't be so arrogant. Don't think that just because young Master Su has your back, you can do whatever you want. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'll give you 3 days to break up with young Master Su, or else. Otherwise. Zhao Qingya didn't finish her sentence, but Huamin knew exactly what she wanted to say. There was nothing going on between her and Suyu. At most, it was Suyu's unrequited love, but now Zhao Qingya's attitude was so bad. Huamin was in trouble. She was being treated like a sick cat if the tiger didn't show its power. What I want to do is my own business. If you lay a finger on me, you're dead meat. I'm just an insignificant nurse, but you're no better than me. To put it nicely, you're a celebrity, but to put it bluntly, you're just an actress. Don't look down on each other. We're all relying on our own abilities to make a living. Are you openly going against me? Zhao Qingyao was furious. You're being unreasonable. If I knew you were here to talk to me about this, I wouldn't have come to the rooftop. You're wasting my time. Also, I have a warning for you. If you can't control a man, that's because you're useless. It's useless for you to come to me. Why don't you go and find Suyu? Are you afraid of him? If you're so scared, then don't come and talk to me. Let me tell you, I'm scarier than Suyu. I'm not your mother, and I won't let you do whatever you want. With that, Huamin turned around and left. Very well, bitch. Just you wait. Zhao Qingyao grabbed her mask and threw it to the ground. After sending Zhao Qingyao off, Huamin went to check the rooms. Along the way, Nan Nan reported the situation to her. The patient in ward number 7 has been in a better mood recently. He no longer throws tantrums and listens to you. We give him an hour of playtime every day. He seems to be more cheerful and will occasionally chat with us nurses. The psychiatrist said that since he's doing well here, he should stay here for the time being and not change shifts. They're afraid that he'll be conflicted with the unfamiliar environment and nurses. As for his family, they rarely come and seem to be very busy. His mother came the day before yesterday and left after depositing a few 100,000 yuan in a hospital card. She said that he should continue to stay here. This kind of parent is really irresponsible. A good child is ruined just like that. Huamin sighed slightly. Those parents who only knew how to solve problems with money to make up for their children would definitely teach children who lacked love in the end. Huamin sympathized with that youth. When they arrived at room 7, she saw the nurse giving the young man a 4-drip. He was very quiet and did not move at all. When he saw Huamin enter, he seemed a little excited. Sister, you're here? How are you feeling today? Huamin smiled. Much better. I'm calmer and not as manic as before. That's good. Adjust your mood. The medicine we gave you can only be used as a supplement. It can't solve the root cause. The most important thing is your mood. Yes, I'll listen to you. I'm not so angry when I lose the game. If I get killed, I'll just come back next time. Huamin nodded. That's good to think that way. Rest well. If you need anything, tell the nurse. Okay, I got it. Then you continue with the 4-drip. I'll go to another ward first. Huamin was just about to leave when the youth suddenly spoke behind her. Sister, can I ask you for a favor? What is it? Huamin was confused. Chapter 450. Can you take my place in tomorrow's ranking match? I want to see if you're good at it. Sure, no problem. But after the match, you have to go out and get some sun with me. Deal. The young man smiled brightly. Huang Jiaming was a complete shut-in. He didn't like to exercise, let alone get some sun. Huamin also hoped that he could slowly adjust his mentality. In order to help the patient recover, he had to play games with her. Walking out of the ward, Nan Nan smiled. Head nurse, you're so popular. You can handle any kind of patient. People need to know how to get along with each other. Patients can be treated like friends. If you're honest with them, they'll naturally return the favor. Looks like I've learned a lot. Nan Nan had gone from hating Huamin like Jiao Jiao to worshipping Huamin. It had been a long process. Now, Huamin was famous at Southside. Patients from other departments often came to her to discuss their patients and ask her to help with their recovery plans. Some patients even gave her gifts, but she wouldn't accept them unless they were small trinkets. After work, Huamin drove straight to Zhu Lingling. The two of them stopped at a Taiwanese restaurant. Huamin took out a paper bag and handed it to her. This is for you. Wow, Hermes bags. The latest model. There are even 2 of them. You're really generous. What's going on? Do you have something to ask of me? Zhu Lingling asked with a smile. No. Then why did you give me a gift for no reason? Zhu Lingling found it strange. Huasiqian gave this to me. I can't take it back, and I don't want it. It's a pity to throw it away. It's best to give it to you. Why would you throw it away? It's so expensive. It's the right thing to give it to me. Zhu Lingling loved luxury goods. When she saw the 2 bags, she liked them very much. How are things going between you and Gaoran? Huamin asked casually as he ate. Ahem. What do you mean, what do you mean? You make it sound like there's something going on between us. Of course the 2 of you are having an affair. Don't talk nonsense. Don't blame me for sealing your mouth. Zhu Lingling laughed and joked with Huamin. Huamin liked to be with Zhu Lingling because he felt relaxed. When there was something to talk about, they would talk about it. When there was nothing to talk about, even if the 2 of them did not say anything, they would not feel awkward. This was much better than those besties who appear to be on good terms with each other on the surface. But in private, they would plot against each other and tear each other apart. By the way, did you know that Lu Xing is engaged? I don't know when. Huamin was a little surprised. Yeah, you left the group? So you didn't see the message. It happened a few days ago. She made an announcement in the group, and a lot of people went. But she's rich, so she didn't accept any gifts. I heard that he's also a rich second-generation heir who came back from overseas and is quite good-looking. Don't be mad when I tell you. What's there to be mad about? Huamin lowered his head and ate a piece of pork rib. I saw her fiancé's photo in the group. He looks a little like Qin Shu. Oh, really? Yeah, just a little, but not completely. Maybe that's why Lu Xing likes him. Seeing that she has no hope of getting Qin Shu, she switched to a substitute. Actually, she's pretty crazy. Zhu Lingling sighed. I think she's pretty smart. She knows what she wants. For example, she likes Qin Shu, and she doesn't hide it. She doesn't feel sad when she rejects him. Even if she's looking for someone to marry, she's looking for someone who looks like Qin Shu. I have to say, someone like her is pretty persistent. Haha, you're right. But this is great. You have one less love rival. Zhu Lingling laughed. Come on, she's not a love rival. Mr. Qin doesn't even care about her. At most, it's one-sided love, okay? Lu Xing had been obsessed with Qin Shu since high school, and Huamin was already used to it. After all, she knew too well what kind of person Qin Shu was. Su family mansion. Su Yu drove home. His family was having dinner, and his parents and grandfather were all there. It was a happy family. Mom, this set of jewelry is for you. Su Yu took out the jewelry he bought at an auction a few days ago and handed it to Lady Su. Chapter 451. Hey, it's not a holiday. It's not my birthday. Why are you giving me jewelry? Lady Su was very happy. She opened the box, took out the bracelet, and gestured with it on her wrist. GK held a charity banquet a few days ago. I did something good and donated money. So you said honestly as he touched the bridge of his nose. Lortsu was obviously in a good mood. He smiled and said, You did the right thing. When you have a certain level of ability, you should think about giving back to society. This is called take from the people and use for the people. His grandpa was an old leader in the military and liked to speak ancient Chinese. So he was used to it. He walked up to his grandpa, sat down next to him, and poured himself a small glass of Wuliangya. Drink with grandpa today. Okay, you little brat. It's rare for you to be in the mood. Your grandpa has high blood sugar. Don't drink so much with him. Mr. Su reminded him with a serious face. Hey, it's okay. It's rare for the kid to be happy, so I'm happy too. Mr. Su smiled. All right. During my inspection, I saw the granddaughter of one of my former subordinates. She's also in the military academy. She's really pretty and smart. She's already a battalion commander in the army. I heard that the army is on a mountain to the north of us. It's not far away. You guys should meet when you have time. Young people should have a lot to talk about. Grandpa, I don't lack women. You don't have to go through the trouble of introducing them to me. So you took a sip of white wine and replied. Mr. Su said, unhappily, those women of yours are nothing. Your grandpa said that actresses can't enter the Su family. You should give up on that thought. Look at you. We're just having dinner. Why are you talking to the kid about this? Is you someone who doesn't know his limits? He knows what he's talking about. Mrs. Su immediately defended her son. Dad, don't worry. I won't marry a female celebrity. So you didn't talk back to his father. Mr. Su didn't say anything else. He seemed to be satisfied with his son's answer. You You're not young anymore. If you don't want to get married, you could get engaged first. My old buddies already have grandchildren. I don't want to have grandchildren, but at least let me see my granddaughter-in-law. Haha, don't fall in love with her. Otherwise, if Grandpa dies one day, I won't be able to see him. Grandpa, you will live to 100 years old. You won't die. Don't flatter me, kid. I'm just a normal person. I'll be 70 years old in a few years. At most, I'll have 10 more years to live. Don't make me wait too long, Grandpa Lord Sue said seriously. Mrs. Sue suddenly thought of something and asked, "Hey, son, you told me last time that you liked that girl. How is she now? Is there any progress?" "No, I'm still in one-sided love." "So you told the truth. Unrequited love? Look at how useless you are. Why don't you go and confess?" Master Lord Sue was getting anxious. Sue scratched the back of his head. "I said it once, but she rejected me. Coward. If you reject her once, there's a second time. If the second time doesn't work, there's a third time. As the saying goes, sincerity can move metal and stone. You must be patient," Lord Sue advised. "I haven't given up. I'm just waiting for a good opportunity," Sue argued. "What kind of girl is she? What does her family do?" Mr. Sue asked in a muffled voice. "She's a nurse in a hospital. Her family is very ordinary. Her mother runs a supermarket and her brother is in college." "Too ordinary." Mr. Sue was obviously dissatisfied. Master Lord Sue immediately interrupted. "Hey, as long as the kid likes her, don't be picky. You, remember Grandpa's words. As long as she's from a good family, has a good personality, a good heart, and is filial, it's fine. She meets all these requirements, Grandpa. Okay, that's good. Continue to pursue her and let Grandpa meet her as soon as possible." "Yeah, son, I'm getting anxious," Mrs. Sue agreed. "I'll try my best." To be honest, Sue didn't have much confidence. Originally, he was full of confidence, but when he found out that she was married to Chin Chu, he was very shocked. Moreover, Huomin's attitude towards him was worse than that towards an ordinary friend. He was very cold. Even if he wanted to do something, he didn't know where to start. After Huomin and Zhu Lingling finished eating, Zhu Lingling suggested that they go shopping. At a certain watch counter, Huomin bumped into Lady Qin. There were a few middle-aged rich ladies beside her. "Hey, that looks like Chin Chu's mother." Zhu Lingling pointed at a woman and whispered, "You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.